Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shootin' the Skype. I'm JID123, and always I am joined by Miracle. Say hi.
Sup?
So, let's see. Lots have happened since last we've done this,
Yeah,
Cole.
yeah. It has been a while since we. When was the last shooting the Skype we did, Joel?
I think it was with Jake.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Um, and also, so I guess we should start with this, Cole. Now, Cole, something happened on Twitter a few days ago involving you, involving certain
Uh,
articles on the internet.
I didn't even think you were going to bring this up.
And Cole, do you have things you need to get off your chest because of these certain articles about living longer by looking at certain areas of the female body?
So, if any of you follow me on Twitter, you probably were privy to me having a bit of a meltdown.
Yes, he did, folks. Yes, he did.
Basically, I think it was the New York Post, if I'm correct, Joel, that posted this. Basically, the tagline of this article was staring at boobs once a day is just one of 6 ways men can live longer.
The science does not sound sound.
And I systematically broke down all the questions I need to figure out how this actually makes sense.
And did it make sense?
No, it didn't make sense.
Oh, dang. I want to live long. Well,
I
do
do
you?
too.
I mean, do we, though, in this kind of world?
It's I'd have to go through my Twitter again. Basically, if any of you want to see my whole rampage on Twitter, look up the post. You can find it in my tweets or replies pretty easily. It's like a 10 thread tweet spree of me just breaking down all the questions I have about how exactly does this work.
He does.
It's very because the question I had immediately, Joel, I said stare at boobs, how, like bare, lingerie, covered, like what like I need details here.
I mean, don't we all? Yeah.
Especially because I said what if so basically, but what if you go on Google Images for once a day? Does that mean your quality of life's gonna increase? What if you're a woman? What if you just stare at your rack once a day? Are you gonna live forever that way?
That would be something.
It's just I don't even know how sound that article is or if it's a joke article. So basically people don't at me saying how that's scientifically incorrect. It's probably very incorrect. But then again, they say a lot of things will make you live longer. They say laughing a lot once a day adds like 1 or 2 years of life on you.
Then Titus must live forever. Then that
Yeah.
laugh of his. Oy.
Yeah. James Arnold Taylor, man, you really brought it.
Here we are. I found your tweets. You say stare at.
No, don't read it off. I want them to find it themselves.
Alrighty.
Let's keep this somewhat PG, Joel, because some of it gets a bit. Now, keep in mind, I kept it as PG as I could on Twitter. I tried to be as professional as possible.
We apologize to all our lady listeners out there, if we are coming off wrong in any way in your eyes.
Well, better yet, Joel, what if a woman stares at a penis once a day? What does that do?
I have no idea.
Does the length matter? Does the thickness matter? You know?
Yep. These are questions, my friend, that must be answered. Now to get away from anatomy for a second, I have another announcement to make. Disney Channel has announced the actors for the live-action Kim Possible movie.
That's right, I did hear about that.
Sadie Stanley at the Goldbergs and Sean Giambron at Sean Giambron 1 on their Twitter. There's a Twitter. Will play Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable in the Disney Channel original movie set to debut in 2019.
Is it supposed to be just a remake of it, or is it a continuation?
It's a live-action movie, so I would think it's just a continuation.
That'd be interesting.
Did you see the tweet, Cole? Have you seen any of the pictures?
No, I have not seen the pictures.
I have a link here. I'll send it to you. So this is what.
Gotcha.
So what do you think, Cole?
Come on, let me. As soon as I'm able to see it, I haven't figured out exactly how the new Skype works yet. Oh wait, I see it. Hang on. Let's see. She kind of looks like the girl from what's it? No, that's not the girl. But she kind of looks like the girl from Girl Meets World.
A little bit in the face. I mean,
The guy who's playing Ron looks a bit. How should I put this nicely?
nerdy.
He looks a little too nerdy for Ron. But maybe that can change with the hairstyle though.
I'm sure they're gonna put them get makeup and put like wigs on them, make them look like a live action Kim Possible.
Yeah, the girl who's apparently is playing Kim doesn't look too bad. I can see her playing it.
I wonder who they'll get to play Dr. Draken and Shigo.
Yeah, please do not get Megan Fox to play Shigo. Whatever you do, whatever you do, Disney, don't do that.
Oh, brother. Oh.
Please don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I hope it's like with Mr. Crocker in the live-action Fairly Odd Parents show.
Yes, I hope so too.
Like, say what you will about that movie, like, Mr. Crocker was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, really spot on.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And of course we got really beautiful Tootie.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, of course.
Yeah. It feels a little shallow on their part.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of actors playing things, Joel, you sent this to me, and this is the first time I had heard about it. What did you think? What do you think of the possibility of Drake Bell playing young Ericus?
I like it just because I can make so many good Ericus and Xehanort jokes. I never fail, but it be so simple. But I found the way.
I think he's a good pick for young Ericus.
Yeah, I like Drake Bell. He's cool.
I think he's a decent choice for it.
Oh man, Xehanort and Ericus. If you open up your mind.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, Joel, let's talk about. We'll just do our brief thoughts. Joel, I've talked to some people, Jake, and a few other people about maybe doing a pre-E3, like thoughts on what we expect to see, what we want to see. So I figured we just go instead of just talking about Kingdom Hearts there. We'll talk about it here, Joel. We got a little bit of Kingdom Hearts news from the whole Dandelion meetup. We didn't get as much as I hoped we would.
We got that cool trailer.
We got the trailer of the mini games that are apparently going to be in 3.
I love them already.
Yeah.
I love. Have you been noticing this, Cole? Because I actually did this a couple days ago. Not a couple days, like a couple months ago. I went back and looked up some old Kingdom Hearts 2. Sorry, my brain. I just got back from the movie, folks. I think you know which one. If you look at
that, we'll talk about that at the end.
Right. Some Kingdom Hearts 2 promotional material, trailers, that sort of thing. And what I noticed about that compared to 3 is 2 really focuses so much on Organization 13, the whole very Kingdom Heartsy, very anime. 3 has been very Disney centric, I feel. I feel like a lot of it is a more lighthearted. I don't think it takes itself super seriously in a good way. Just seeing Sora look like a Disney cartoon from an old 2D Disney game, and just the music they're playing, it's more leaning back on the Disney side of things compared to what 2 was doing back then.
Well, to be fair with 2, after 1 and Chain of Memories, we had grown to love those characters so much, and especially after Chain of Memories, we were kind of wanting, like, what the hell was going to happen? Because I don't think in Chain of Memories we know much about Maleficent.
No, I mean...
of course she's dead, of course.
No, I mean, just in promotional materials, always like... Yeah, no. You see a lot of Sora fighting the Organization, Hollow Bastion, that sort of thing. It's not really, let's go to these Disney worlds and have fun.
Yeah. Not to say there weren't Disney elements in 2. They aren't widely as used as Joel and I have talked about in the past, but there are some. The most Disney-looking thing in 2 probably was Timeless River.
Oh yeah, that's great. I like that world quite a bit.
I also like that speaking of Timeless River, I like that they're using similar designs for some of the mini games.
Oh yeah, I love the 30s looking Disney stuff.
Someone had a theory, Joel, that they thought that probably these mini games are probably it's probably gonna be how you obtain the ultimate weapon.
Ooh, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
What other thing did you find out, Cole? Did you do some research into the Dandelion meeting? All I saw was the trailer.
I don't think much was revealed. Honestly, I looked through some of the stuff that was shown, and honestly, not a lot was really shown. They were very tight-lipped about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, Joel, I think the reason for that is they're just saving up the big stuff for E3.
I hope so. I mean, the fact they showed a trailer at all has to mean something, right?
Yes, it has to mean something. The other thing is, I think there's supposed to be another meetup before E3, but I don't know exactly what we're going to get there. There's something I want to bring up, Joel.
Okay.
I've seen this thrown around a bit, and I have some thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see an event where they announce the release date for Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh, I would love that. I would love to hear a big thing when they announce the event day Kingdom Hearts 3 is released. It should be a big deal.
Here's my issue with it, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
While I like the idea of them unveiling more stuff on an event release, an event like that, I am not content Square is going to stick by it.
Okay. I can see your point. Perhaps
Mainly because the same thing with Final Fantasy 15. There was a big event about them announcing the release date. They announced a lot of stuff about the game, a lot of mechanics, a lot of that. And at the end, they announced the release date, September 27th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then like a month after that event, they pushed it back. So basically, they went against their own event. So I'm like, well, then what the hell is the point of an event where you announce a release date only to push it back? That's bad PR at that point.
Oh yeah. I get your point. Yeah, probably best.
And at that point, I'm like, no, just give us something at E3, at the Jump Festa, something like that. Do not, for the love of, do not do that. I would love to make a big deal about it, but I'm not content Square's going to stick by it. Especially, I'm not content Nomura would stick by it.
Yeah, especially I would say just if you're gonna announce the release date, do it like quietly. Then at least if you do push back, at least you don't have to deal with the
Or
fact.
at least or show it in a trailer or something. That's your best bet. That way you don't generate that much buzz about that kind of thing and then disappoint a lot of the fandom over that.
Oh yeah,
Because you were setting yourself up big time to get your ass kicked if you do something like that.
definitely. Back to the trailer for a second. I'm loving the graphics here for everything.
Yes, I am too.
I love Sora's expressions.
Yeah, I do too.
He looks.
Well, now we're finally starting to see the new engine. I think it's the Unreal 4 engine. It's looking really, really spiffy.
Oh yeah, somebody I think on YouTube said, he looks not on Twitter said he like Sora looks better than even the more cinematic cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
It doesn't look as good as the opening scene from Birth by Sleep Point 2.
Oh,
but that's to be expected though.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen the opening for that where they had the Simple and Clean remix in there, it looks amazing.
You've seen the cutscenes for Birth by Sleep 2.0, right?
I've played it.
So you've heard the voices and stuff, right?
Well, which part?
Oh, there's the part with Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Yeah.
Joel Osment's doing like a Peter Pan thing with Sora's voice. It's so high pitched.
Yeah. I think he kind of has to do that because we have to keep in mind Joel Osment is not as young as he used to be. He's having a bit of a more difficult time doing the voice in Dream Drop Distance.
Well, we've been playing Vanitas the whole time, so
true. That probably also hasn't helped.
I think he still does the Vanitas voice good, but that's easier to do.
Well, especially because he's kind of grown into it. Vanitas I've always pictured as being an older version of 2 Sora.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be all goofy and silly.
Especially because what the
Oh, you're just probably getting messaging.
Anyway, David Gallagher has aged really well as Riku because of course he ages with the character and he sounds like he ages.
Oh, definitely. Wait, sorry. Oh, David Gallagher.
Yeah,
He's pretty good. I think
yeah.
he's stuck with it.
I'll be interested to see if they get Hayden Panettiere back as Kyrie.
I hope so.
It sucks because she hasn't been present in the last few games, and that kind of sucks. I think her last game was actually 2.
Well, let's face it, Kyrie's always criminally underused.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if she gets anything to do in this game because, like they said, there's one other player that's going to be playable. I imagine that'll either be Riku or Kyrie. It'll either be one of the two. I wish they would do kind of the 3-player thing, kind of like they did with Birth by Sleep, just a bit better.
I would love it if they could just make Riku and Kyrie party members, and you could have Donald, Goofy, and Riku, Kyrie. Then finally, the whole group.
Yeah, I would like that too. I think when we get to the final battle, that's probably going to be the case.
I hope so. I had an issue since I finished 2, where I really think Kyrie should have been on the other side of that door. It should have been Sora, Riku, and Kyrie versus Xemnas.
I agree.
Like shutting her out and but like, ooh, that's like no. Like you gave her a Keyblade, have her fight with it.
Well, the only thing I guess I could argue with that, I agree with you, is that she technically wasn't proficient with it yet. She would probably be the weak link out of Sora and Riku at that point.
I know, but for symbolism and story,
I know.
Story, that would have been great.
Symbol-wise, I can even argue against you for some like that, but that's an argument for another time. But I agree with you regardless.
Yeah, I still like the atmosphere more in the first game's boss battle. I thought that was harder.
To be fair, I love the final face-off with Sora, Riku, and Xemnas. I love that battle. The stuff leading up to it, but I do love their face-off with Xemnas.
I did die once.
I used to have a lot of trouble against that Xemnas, especially when he does the area laser attack and you don't know what to do. If you aren't pressing shit, you're going to get annihilated.
I had some trouble. Although I was lucky in the sense that Riku always managed to heal me just at the right moment.
Yeah, he's very useful in terms of healing.
Unlike Donald.
Yeah. I think Riku uses potions.
Oh, maybe that's why. I didn't pack any potions, sadly, during that final boss battle. Like I realized, oh no, I didn't give myself anything.
Like I told Joel, the interesting thing about that final boss battle is the third part of Darkness of the Unknown, which is basically Xemnas' battle theme.
Mm-hmm.
The third part of it, especially the one where you face off against Xemnas in his black and white coat, there's keys from that song that are from Terra's theme.
I mean that makes sense. I mean Xemnas is Terra, right?
Yes. Well, technically you could make that argument that Xehanort's Heartless is too, but yeah.
I always kind of think is Xehanort Heartless is more Xehanort and Xemnas is more Terra, even just in the face.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, especially later on, the one thing Joel I don't think I've seen yet, Joel and I have yet to fight the Terra's Lingering Will.
Oh, I'm not going up against that. Are you kidding? I'm going to die.
I'm gonna attempt to try it eventually because I want to see just to hear Rage Awakened again. I want to hear that and get my ass kicked plenty of times.
I love.
And Joel, you beat Braig in Birth by Sleep, right?
Oh yeah, I finally did that a couple days ago.
Where are you at in Birth by Sleep?
Oh, where am I just finished Radiant Garden, so I'm gonna choose another world soon. I'm not sure where to go. Disney Town first, Stitch World.
I'd recommend going to Stitch World.
All right, I know I gotta do Disney World eventually.
Well, Disney Town's very simple. You'll be in and out of there very quick.
Maybe I'll go there first just to get some extra points though. Level up a bit.
Well, you don't. Well, that's the thing. You don't level up in Disney Town that much. There isn't a lot of fighting there.
That's true.
It's basically an attraction-based world.
Yeah.
Speaking of 3, Joel, I'll be interested to see how they integrate Hayner, Pence, and Olette.
Hopefully they get to do stuff.
I hope so too.
Especially since Roxas is going to come back.
Well, yeah.
You know Roxas and Ventus are going to be separate people by the end of this, right?
I imagine too. As much as I'm not a fan of that, I would much rather be a fan of Roxas and Ventus kind of fusing together, kind of like Lee and Axel kind of are, even though they're basically one and the same. But you get what I mean.
Yeah, that confuses me. Like, okay, so Lee and Axel get to be the same person, yet Roxas and Ventus have to be separate. Like,
well, I mean, the deal is always the thing with Ventus and Roxas has never been mechanically explained. It's always been assumed just through interviews with Nomura and all that how that works.
It's confusing. I mean, I read a fan fiction once that kind of did the whole thing of Roxas and Ventus was the same person, just kind of jumbled together in their head. It was even funny because Lee was around and like Ventus was having like identity issues.
Well, the funny thing is Ventus knows Lee.
Yeah, it was funny because they actually made fun of that. Like Roxas is like, "You grew up. You're old now." And then, although that the fanfic was kind of dark because it was about Sora and Vanitas kind of dealing with each other.
Also, I'll throw out another interesting thing about 3. I'm interested to see what they end up doing with Lee.
Me too. I can't wait to see him. Of course, you know me. I'm curious to see what to do with Vanitas. He's my.
Well, yeah, and they've confirmed that he's back. So, and also since those pictures were basically confirmed to be true, that means we're going to see the Unversed again.
I know it's gonna be exciting. How did he come back though? Is he just part of the time travel?
I don't know. I imagine Xemnas and Ansem have to be. Vanitas, I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, he's kind of the. I mean, he could have just done time travel with him. You know, everyone was coming back through time travel. It seemed like.
Yeah, and then of course Marluxia's around, so we'll see that. And of course, now that we know that Marluxia's connected to the Keyblade War, he's going to be present in some way.
And Ventus too. He's connected to the Keyblade War.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be interested to see if any of the other 13 or any of the other Dandelions, like a Schooled Empimera or however the hell you say his name, Brain.
Yeah. I don't play the Dandelion stuff.
I don't either, and I know very little about them. The only thing I really know is that Marluxia somebody is apparently a Keyblade wielder.
Do you think Marluxia's working with the organization?
I think he has to be.
See, I don't because he doesn't have the yellow eyes.
Well, to be fair, Joel, to be fair, if I'm correct, I think even the original Organization 13, that was supposed to be the case that he had put parts of them into people. Maybe. I could be wrong.
No, I always know because Bragg said he's already part Xehanort and they close up on his yellow eye. And doesn't even Isa have yellow eyes now?
We had him to begin with. Also his hair, but that's a different story.
Yeah, that too.
I guess the question is, I think by extension, I think he has to be because I think he says it in the trailer.
Maybe. I thought he said the true Organization 13.
Well, yeah, the true, yeah. So he's basically working with Master Xehanort.
That's true. I'm surprised he is, though, considering he wanted to dethrone Xemnas.
Yeah, if I had to make a prediction, I would assume Marluxia's working on his own.
I kind of want them all.
Huh?
I kind of want them all to be working on their own to a certain extent, I guess.
I think they would have to be. The only ones I don't think are Ansem and Xemnas. They're the only two I don't. The others, who knows? And Vanitas, I'm sure, is working with them. Marluxia's the only one I'm not sure about. And Isa, we'll see.
Well, the way I would organize it, and this is just me, and this is how I do it in my fanfic too, is, there would be certain members who are working with Xehanort, like true believers, or at least true minions, like Bragg, and then, I would have Vanitas doing his own thing, like he's kind of rogue,
Yeah.
He's got his own agenda going, well, kind of he's the main bad guy in my story, Marluxia probably would be doing his own thing too,
I'll be also speaking of Joel. I'll be very interested to see Marluxia and Ventus interact.
Oh yeah, that'd be getting cool. Like he probably remembers him.
He probably does. So I'll be very interested to see how that actually works out. We'll also see how Luxu factors into this because we see him, if I'm correct, at the beginning of Point 2, Birth by Sleep Point 2. He's there.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be weird how they introduce these new characters.
Yeah.
Especially because aren't they supposed to be like thousands of years old at this point?
We don't know. The ones that were from Ventus, technically, I think something, if I'm correct, that basically did a time jump and that's how they survived the war.
I hope so, because they better not say the Keyblade War took place 30 years ago.
Yeah, no, especially considering how Xehanort's talked, I highly doubt that's the case.
Was Xehanort a survivor of the first Keyblade War?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I don't know why I
Remember,
thought that.
Joel. Well, Joel, remember, Xehanort is original in Destiny Islands.
That's right. I knew that.
So technically, he would have to be after the Keyblade War because remember, Destiny Islands is away from the other worlds, and the Keyblade War was a time where all those worlds were one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah.
So he has to be. So he basically has to be after the Keyblade War.
See, this kind of wish now. I wish Vanitas was his own person, because that means he would have been old too, and that's kind of cool. Like he remembers the ancient times.
See, the thing is, I like Vanitas in retrospect to Sora, so I have no opinion on that whatsoever. I like his connection with Dentist even more so after that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I that's what I like about Vanitas is he's sort of the evil Sora. That's what makes him
Yeah,
fun. That's why I
yeah.
kind of in my story at least, he's the main villain. Who's the best enemy for Sora himself? Like, if Sora went to the dark side, we're all screwed.
Yeah. So we'll see where they go with that. In terms of what we see at E3, I would imagine that's where we're probably going to get the release date.
Maybe. I'm still. There's still this part of me that thinks D23 might be the thing.
See, the thing is, so Joel, I don't think we've already had D23 is much later in the year. So if they announce it at D23, you're basically not leaving a lot of time for people to get excited about it. So I have a feeling we'll get an idea of when it's going to be released at E3. I don't think we're going to see everything at E3. Lord, no.
Sorry. Sorry, I burped and coughed there.
But I do not think we're going to see everything at E3.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
Because we have still yet to see, especially because Nomura has talked this up.
Oh, cool. You're kind of breaking up your microphone here.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little more. You're still kind of scriggly.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Okay. The one thing we have yet to see, and Nomura has really talked up, is the gummy ship.
Yeah, I want to see how we go to different worlds.
Especially because the way he's been talking, it's supposed to be a lot different than how it initially used to work.
Interesting. You see, I have a controversial opinion about the gummy ship. I actually like Kingdom Hearts' one gummy ships better.
Yes, I agree.
I just thought they were better atmosphere settings overall.
Yeah.
Because sort of like you go to the different worlds and the music,
Yeah. Well, the thing with two's gummy ship is they got a lot more cartoony.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, the one pro for the gummy ship over one's is two's gummy ship missions are a hell of a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
A hell of a lot harder. Gummy ships. If you ride gummy ship, you're basically untouchable.
Oh yeah. But is there like
I made crazy gummy ship designs in the past, so basically.
Oh, you're breaking up, Cole. You're breaking up.
Hang on.
This is the technical difficulty part of the show, folks. Ooh, that sounds bad. No, that sounds worse now.
I can't help that.
Okay, that sounds better.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Anyway, so I'll be interested to see how it works, considering Nomura said it's almost like a free roam style type thing.
Ooh, that's interesting. See, what I like about the first Kingdom Hearts game is that they were good atmosphere builders. Like, by the time you got to Hollow Bastions, like, the music darkened, the sky was darker, it's sort of like, do, we're going to our deaths, it's like, ooh.
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
we'll see. We'll see how they integrate Gummy Ship in 3. From what they talked about, I'm looking forward to it. I'll make another prediction, Joel. I don't think we're going to see the opening animation at E3.
Probably not. I would love to see, though. I'd kind of like to see some more cutscenes.
I think we're definitely going to see that. I think that's a given.
I'm surprised we haven't seen. We have seen Pixar. So I'm gonna say I haven't seen the Disney villains from Pixar World show up.
Yeah. I don't even know. Well, the question is, will even some of the Disney villains from mind you, from Pixar show up?
Like we see Randall or Zurg or Sid.
Or the guy from Sid would be a lot harder, but the Big Hero 6 villain, that would be an easy integration.
Yeah, it could be work for the organization for all we know.
Actually, no. He's technically he's out of commission considering the Big Hero 6 world is a continuation from the movie.
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna be curious to see how that works. If they actually, no, I doubt the game will have the other things will ever touch Kingdom Hearts. That would be awesome though.
What do you mean?
Like if the Big Hero 6 show or the next Big Hero 6 movie are gonna mention, hey, remember that kid Sora who showed up?
Nah, I doubt it.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
I would think part of that is due to a rights issue. I would think Square Enix would. I would think there would be a bit of contractual stuff that would keep them from doing that.
I know, but that'd be awesome. But yeah, wow, that'd be cool.
The thing we also have yet to see the Big Hero 6 world at all, even.
I'm curious if they've sort of decided that for 3 they're gonna drop the, which would be sad, kind of. They're gonna drop the Disney villain pretext and just have it be Hero versus whatever organization member we are sending there.
I would assume since Hades is somehow alive, I don't know how he is, but he's around.
Well, he's an immortal god,
I would imagine we're going to see him and Maleficent and Pete around. I imagine they have to play parts, especially because I would imagine Maleficent has to be a big part of this. I don't know how, especially since she's been shown. And the funny thing is, Maleficent's talked about the Book of Prophecy, so I would imagine she's going to be at least an integral part of this game.
I hope so, because that cutscene, like, they're building up something with that Book of Prophecy.
I would imagine, especially after Recoded, I would imagine she's going to be a big part.
And some stuff in the Dandelion Unicross thing.
Yeah. So, I would, and also, like I said, I don't think we're going to see the opening. Also, Joe, I'll make another prediction.
Okay.
I think the song "Don't Think Twice" is going to get a sort of remix for the opening.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind that.
I would think maybe they could pull it off to where they'll use "Don't Think Twice" as the regular thing. But if they go a simple and clean route with it, they may just use a remix. That'd be really interesting.
That'd be cool. I like this song. Which of the 3 songs, Simple and Clean, Don't Think Twice, and Sanctuary, what do you like the best? Like, how would you rank them?
Sanctuary for 1, Simple and Clean as number 2, and then Don't Think Twice for 3. I love all 3 of them. Don't get me wrong.
I would put like Simple and Clean as number 1, Don't Think Twice maybe as number 2, and Sanctuary as number 3 myself. I don't know. That's just me.
I just absolutely love Sanctuary.
It's pretty. I won't deny that. It's very pretty.
Especially, you have to remember, Joel. You weren't with Kingdom Hearts as long as I was.
I've been with it for a long time.
I mean you didn't play it starting with 1.
Oh, okay.
I played through release order as the games were released.
That's true. I started with 2.
No, I started with 1, played that, saw Chain of Memories, got that, played it, and then when 2 came out, I was really excited for it. And then when I heard Sanctuary, it was a odd sense of nostalgia, and it was just a profound experience. So I always have a bias for that song.
It's nice that we're feeling that way again with 3, by the way. That odd sense of nostalgia.
So, and I like Don't Think Twice. I think it has a lot more to grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
It has a potential to usurp Simple and Clean in a certain way, maybe. I will say I like the Japanese version of Don't Think Twice a bit more than I like the English.
Well, that's fair. I've heard people go back and I've always heard people do that stuff about, Japanese for the Japanese over the English version.
And the funny thing is, I'd actually probably pick the Japanese version of Simple and Clean over the English version of Simple and Clean. I like Hikari, that version, a lot more than I like Simple and Clean, which is weird because I love Simple and Clean.
I love Simple and Clean too. I just like,
copyright.
Oh, sorry. Right about
Anyway, so I think we'll see. I would imagine if we see the opening, it's going to probably be at D23.
Yeah. So Cole, who will die in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I highly doubt anybody's going to die, but
oh yeah, the more it's totally going to go everybody lives on us.
Now, if anybody dies, it's going to be the villains. As much as certain.
Yeah.
I'll make a prediction, Joel. I would imagine the villain Nomura is setting up is either Xigbar or Marluxia. I think he's going for one of those two.
To die?
No, for them to be the next big villain. I imagine that's what he's trying to do.
Or the Master of Masters.
Maybe. I don't. To be fair, I don't know a thing about the Master of Masters, so we'll see.
I think I could see Marluxia being the next big bad.
Yeah, maybe it depends on what they do with Braig going forward. The thing with Braig, I've never seen him as a big bad.
Well,
he seems more like a cohort than a big bad.
Yeah, I don't think he has he's not a planner.
No.
Although I don't know, it's like Marluxia. We just did Marluxia with Chain of Memories.
True, but considering what they're doing with Laurium, and especially considering Nomura says Union Cross won't be finished even after 3.
Maybe.
So I would imagine someone from Union Cross is going to be probably the next big villain. Maybe Luxu ends up being the other big villain.
I still want Vanitas to be the next big villain, but that's just me.
Yeah. And sadly, Joe, I would like that. I doubt that's going to happen.
I know. Well, it can always happen in the glorious world of fan fiction.
I would imagine that those are probably the ones he's going for, but we'll see.
You think maybe he'll just make a new villain?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about recycling old villains that we've already defeated.
Well, the problem is with I think the thing we have to consider, Joel, is I think no matter what we do, I think even if we do a new villain, I think it's going to be someone from the Keyblade War.
I mean, I don't mind that. That'd be cool.
I imagine it's going to be a Keyblade wielder. I think that's a given at this point.
Yeah, definitely. They're like the Jedi and the Sith. Yeah. Except they're.
I'll say another thing, Joe. I wouldn't mind seeing a more Sith version of the Keyblade wielders, like Dark Wielders or something like that.
Yeah, closest we have to that is Organization 13.
Yeah, but even them, they aren't that. Especially, I guess you could argue Xehanort kind of is, but
not really.
I'd argue Xehanort's a more in-between character. Is probably a more in-between Darkseid user than anyone else.
He's a great Keyblade wielder, and we can actually say that because Kingdom Hearts is very iffy with its whole light dark concept.
I think it's pretty consistent with its light dark concept. It's not as black and white as it was in 1, and I kind of like that actually.
I guess you're right about that.
Honestly, if they continue doing that from 1. I could see that. I don't think it probably would have carried as well through future games. And it probably wouldn't. And I'll make another controversial statement, Joel. I don't think Kingdom Hearts would have lasted nearly as long with that idea. Especially, Joel, considering if we did Hunchback with that notion, there's no way that would have ever added up.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I would have been cool if we had, like, multiple baddies, main baddies, like Master Xehanort was the one all about balance, but then you had another one who was just like pure dark evil, kind of sort of like balance it out, you know what I'm saying?
What else do we need to see? I imagine we're going to see Jungle Book at E3. I think that's a given.
Oh yeah, well wasn't that confirmed or that rumor?
No, it has not been confirmed.
Okay, so that'll be confirmed.
I will say I'm 97% sure that that is happening.
Do you think we'll be animals again in the Jungle Book world, or will we actually be humans?
I don't know.
Oh wait, no, we could be humans because Mowgli's a human.
I'll be interested to see what they do with that. The reason why I'm pretty sure it's going to be in there, for any of you who don't know, when Birth by Sleep was released, someone hacked the game and found hot files for a Jungle Book world.
That would have been cool.
There was enough there that you could actually explore the area. It wasn't finished. Square cut it for whatever reason. I think they probably cut it for time. But there was originally going to be a Jungle Book world and Birth by Sleep.
I'm curious. I always feel something happened with Birth by Sleep, because do you remember a while back some of those pictures with Terra and Maleficent, and Terra looks kind of evil in the picture?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? Like,
Well, to be fair, Joel, this is Nomura we're talking about, and Nomura has a habit of showing trailers with very unfinished products, and has a habit of going against some of the things he's shown.
Okay.
And I can officially say that, especially with my history with 15.
I was watching somebody do a let's play of Birth by Sleep, and they were doing Terra story, and like he was like, okay, I think I understand why he didn't make Terra a Keyblade Master, and it wasn't because he was power hungry. Terra's not the brightest jewel in the shed.
No, Joel, and you and I, Joel, probably have probably the more controversial opinion of Terra, because people love the hell out of Terra, and I'm like, I don't see it. I think I think Sora might be an idiot, but he is nowhere near as bad as Terra.
He doesn't believe the Disney villains, for one thing.
Yeah, and I hate to use the nostalgia critics version of that, kind of the whole thing of when he sees Maleficent, he just goes along with their plan. I would be like, how can you not figure out that she's a suspicious person? I mean, if I looked at her, I would run like all the other direction.
Bringing up Channel Awesome, ain't that something? You know, we actually have not talked about Channel Awesome at all since our last Shootin' this guy. And that went down.
We didn't talk. I don't even know we even talked about it.
We had a little bit in conversation, but like, no, that's something, Cole. Just watching probably one of the most influential online institutions just collapse in front of your eyes.
Yeah, and influential in a certain genre, yes. Especially considering, you know, he's kind of been talked up as kind of being kind of this very as kind of a word of wisdom among that community. He's always been respected, and then when all this went down, boy, I have not seen this much backlash against that a single YouTuber. I mean, Angry Joe's had some backlash, but nowhere near as much as Channel Awesome.
He's kind of the first online reviewer, it feels like. I don't think he technically is.
I don't think so either. There were probably others way before him that were kind of doing what he was doing. He was the one that probably made that kind of style more popular.
Oh, definitely. I remember it seems like he was the one who kind of orchestrated the era of online analysis that we're in today.
Yeah. And I'll admit that whole thing kind of bothered me a bit, because I'm like, I love a lot of this guy's stuff, and not to hear that he's kind of – it's not that he is an outright asshole, Joel, at least from what I'm reading. It's more that he is very indecisive when it comes to those matters, that he's passively he's a really horrible person.
Yeah, it's the other guy, Mike, he's more aggressive while Doug is passive.
The CEO. I don't remember the guy's name.
Name. I don't know where Rob fits into all this. I'm sure, but I've always had my issues with Rob.
Yeah, the funny thing with me, and whenever Doug and Rob were ever doing things themselves, you can tell Rob is the one who writes the nostalgia critic stuff, because he kind of has that voice. You can hear that kind of what's a word? That kind of the way he holds himself is very similar to that.
Oh yeah, like whenever Doug did his own thing just off the cuff, like a vlog and stuff, he's kind of very calm. He's like, it doesn't bother me that much actually. If you like it, that's fine. It comes out kind of like me in certain expense of like, pick your poison.
Yeah, I think Rob strikes me as someone who seems, and I don't want to start crap here, but he always struck me as being a little smug.
Oh yeah, he's total. I feel like he's a bit of a film elitist. You know how much I have my issues with film elitism. Yeah, so
whenever they did reviews together, I kind of went away from that, because I'm like, I just don't enjoy this. Now, to be fair, I kind of stopped watching Channel Awesome even before that, because I didn't like their new formats as much. They were starting to push really more on the film side, on just filming their own stuff instead of just showing stuff from the movies and commenting on them. It kind of lost a bit of its charm that way, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain people on Channel Awesome I still like Tony Goldmark, Linkara.
I like Linkara. I don't watch Linkara a lot, but from what I've seen, I really like the guy.
When Angry Joe does a good video, I watch him, like his Battlefront reviews and yeah.
Speaking of Angry Joe, Joel, I like Joe. Don't get me wrong. My problem with Joe, I feel like the way he organizes himself could be improved a bit.
Yeah,
Especially, hear me out for a minute. I have not watched Joe nearly as much these days for a couple reasons. The main reason being, whenever he does a movie, I've never watched his movie reviews, mainly because he always has people on with him, and it never really feels like a discussion that he's going for.
yeah. I mean, I've had some issues recently with some of his opinions about the Last Jedi. Kind of,
And as to be fair, Joe is kind of how do I say this nicely? He's kind of
he has interesting views. Let's say that.
he has interesting views, and he also there was a whole thing a while back. I know I've gone the whole thing about him and the whole thing with him not making the content that people ask him for. That's a different story, and to some extent, I sympathize with the guy. My point is, I kind of wish he was just straightforward with his fans and just be like, look. I'm having more issues filming these that y'all like more so these days. It just takes so much out of me. I can't do it all myself. Fine, just be honest. The other thing with Joe, unfortunately, is I don't remember how long ago this was. He had a bit of a copyright struggle for a while.
Oh yeah, that's always the problem with YouTube. YouTube's terrible.
Well, the other thing too is not only that I'm not sure he was exactly in the right on it.
Ah, okay.
Because I think some of that stemmed from some of his reaction videos.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of reaction videos these days just have to be people looking at the camera.
Yeah, and which sucks because you can't put the image because then it just gets weird.
Yeah, because unfortunately he was using a lot of those videos, a lot of the trailer stuff in his videos, and I think that put him in a lot of deep water with YouTube.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the other unfortunate thing too, he had a bit of a running issue with Nintendo for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, no one on YouTube has a good relationship in that regard with Nintendo. Nintendo's very stingy and very picky about what they let be shown on YouTube.
Definitely.
So, yeah, Joe is a bit. You know what's funny, Joel?
What?
I actually like Joe as a movie reviewer in the early days.
I've never seen his early movie reviews. I like his game reviews. To be fair.
I do too. But his movie reviews were a lot more like his game reviews.
Yeah, it's also it's also kind of funny. I always liked it when Doug and even Rob did their vlogs. I just like it when they talk about actual things without the sketch because I actually sometimes think they did have interesting things to say. Just
especially
like their Last Jedi review, I thought that was really good. This is before all the controversy, folks. So,
and especially the thing with Joe is, I would like him better if he had people that were more enthused about the whole discussion.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would help him as well. I like his Star Trek stuff.
Star Trek stuff.
Angry Joe stuff. I think he did a couple Star Trek, or maybe not. I'm thinking of Linkara. I do like Linkara's.
He's done some Star Trek reviews.
Yeah, but I've been kind of quiet about this Channel Awesome thing because I feel sorry for everybody, and I can't say I don't care because people have been hurt by this, and
yeah.
I feel
I can't passively sit by and just ignore this. It's hard to ignore this. It's been everywhere on the internet for a couple of weeks now.
Oh no!
So if you've been on Twitter, it's very easy to see.
No, I mean middle finger to them and all that stuff. But I got out of Channel Awesome stuff really early on when I was doing the whole nerd thing. Like I got into Geekvolution pretty quickly after that, and I always preferred that sort of format, the Geeky Gentleman, Geekvolution, Zazubar kind of podcast analysis.
Yeah.
In terms of just content.
I especially prefer podcast analysis too, and that's another reason why I don't watch Joe's reviews is because I like more podcast-oriented stuff. That's why I love channels like Rooster Teeth. I love shows like Always Open and stuff like that, where you hear different views on things and civil discussion among people.
Yeah, it's not just a skit comedy shout and then maybe a little bit of analysis.
Yeah. And also, I probably won't watch Channel Awesome after this. I don't have it in my heart. I really don't have it in my heart to right now.
No, I can't
Honestly,
do it
I was
either. I would feel embarrassed, honestly, if I was watching Doug's, which is sad because of the movie that came out. It's like, oh, I've been watching your other Marvel reviews. Like, oh, dang it, now you had to be controversial, so now I can't. I feel bad watching it.
especially because I'm like, it didn't help either. Another thing I'll comment on, Joel, why am I saying that? Joel, the other thing I'll comment on, if at least they apologized and started to make amends, that'd be one thing. But to go and post a freaking article basically denying all of these allegations against you and back it up with no evidence whatsoever, that does not paint a good picture for you, honestly.
It's all on them. They shot themselves in the foot.
Yes, exactly.
They could have survived even if people knew about some of the really shady and there's the whole pedophile thing going on with that one guy. But
especially if they were, it's like I said, if they were just upfront about it, they probably wouldn't be facing as much backlash.
They probably wouldn't have lost half their people.
Yeah, exactly. If they just been upfront with it, kicked out the CEO guy, they probably would have been in a lot better shape.
Kicked out the CEO guy, actually apologized, not. They doubled down and they lost and they shot themselves in the foot multiple
times. And they're paying
times.
for it too.
Oh yeah, and obviously none of this should have happened in the first place, but just on a amoral marketing standpoint, you could have survived this.
Yeah, you could have survived. It's like it's kind of like what I said about Nixon, Joel. I have said Nixon may have saved his presidency if he had just been upfront and didn't try to cover up all the shit that was happening. The moment he started covering up all that crap, that's the moment that I'm like, yep, you're done.
Yep, I mean, who knows? Maybe with this president it'll work.
Yeah, who knows? But that's a different story. Joe, let me ask you this. I'm interested if you even remember this. Were you aware of the whole thing that was happening with the Fine brothers?
The Fine brothers?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I do.
There was a big controversy, probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Basically, the teens react videos, kids react videos, all that.
Oh yeah, I know those guys. I don't watch them though. I've never been a big fan of those. They seem stupid.
I like some.
I know.
I like some of them, but then there's a big controversy with them about 2 or 3 years ago. Basically, they tried to trademark the word react, so basically they would have.
Oh, that sounds already shady. It's really ridiculous.
And let me put it to you this way, Joel. I have never seen that many people, even more so than Channel Awesome, completely go against the channel in a matter of minutes.
Oh, wow. I heard
they lost.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They lost millions of subscribers in a week.
Holy moly!
Yeah, they had to completely backtrack and say we're not doing that no more. They had to completely reverse what they were doing.
I heard a couple of years ago there was a was it Smosh Games or was it? I think it was Honest Trailers or Screen Junkie. That's right. That's the official website that had like a sexual harassment scandal go on with them.
I don't know.
That was another big one YouTube channel a while back. I thought I heard a controversy involving Smosh Games, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so. The only thing with Smosh Games recently is that Anthony left Smosh.
Which one's Anthony?
He was the guy with the emo hair.
I don't know that one. Sorry, I don't recall. But no, regardless of the scumminess of Channel Awesomes throughout their history, if they had just handled
if they had been upfront about it, they probably could have dodged more of a bullet than they did this time. Instead, they probably could have been grazed by the bullet instead of actually being shot through the heart.
Right. I mean, me probably would have not even stopped watching. But, well, to be fair, I've heard about a lot of scandals they've been doing for a while, and I kept watching anyway. But, this is the final straw kind of a thing.
Especially because it isn't just with one person, or just with a couple people. This is with a slew of people. It's with Nostalgia Chick, Lindsay Ellis, Linkara, Obscurus Lupa.
Yeah, and Lupa's Star was years ago, and that whole thing went down. Though, strangely, that one was the one, I'm just surprised it's happening now. 7 years ago.
And especially for Stockman and Joe to back out, that's saying something too.
I felt so sad for Tony Goldmark. I follow him on Twitter. He's some jerk with a glass, not some jerk with a glass, some jerk with a camera.
Yeah.
He does theme park reviews. Very good, by the way. If you
Yeah.
ever want to get into like theme parks and
I would
Disney,
also,
that's fascinating stuff. And
I would also,
he felt.
speaking of,
Sorry.
continue, Joel.
No, he was going on about why he didn't leave right away, and
Oh, yeah, I watched that video, I think.
no, it was a bunch of tweets, and he was talking about like to him, he thought Doug was a friend, a genuine friend,
Yeah.
He just felt bad, so sad, like he felt like he was losing a friend because they did this horrible thing. So I'm not like just for these people, especially who did like Channel Awesome, I'm not gonna cheerlead and say, yeah, you did a good job leading Channel Awesome, in that militant way. Although that does help, but it's sad because you're losing a friend, or you out with a friend,
Especially considering you have probably two people that are a lot more at this point, probably more well known than Channel Awesome right now, at least in terms of just subscriber count. You lose Angry Joe and you lose Stuckman.
And I have my issues with Stuckman, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Stuckman's a whole different story. But when you lose those two people, you're probably your two most influential people that's associated with your channel. That's when shit's going to start really going downhill.
I think they still have Brad Jones, though.
Who's Brad Jones?
Cinema Snob.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He might have left. I don't follow him.
I don't know who's even with them anymore. When did Lindsay Ellis leave?
Sure, she left a long time ago. I think she was like after To Boldly Flee, or maybe a little after that, because she appeared in the Nostalgia Critics Return.
I also didn't realize that Spoonie. I realized there was a whole controversy. I didn't realize he had a whole meltdown on.
Oh yeah, there was a thing between him and Lupa, and that was like the first big controversy that happened.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Spoonie?
I think he just does his own thing now. He kind of just does his own thing.
If Channel Awesome ever recovers, I doubt it will. We'll see.
I think at the very least, I think it's going to be a shell of its former self.
Yeah, especially because I hate to say this, Joel, but me being with YouTube as long as I have, I have witnessed the rise and fall of many great YouTubers. I was around during the early years of YouTube, and I witnessed the rise and fall of a lot of big YouTubers.
Yeah.
That just, and it's basically.
It's always self-inflicted wounds here.
Well, self-inflicted, but also it's a case of eventually you run out of popularity, you run out of steam after a while.
Yeah.
Your run runs out for a time. When YouTube just finds someone else, that's when your views start going down.
Definitely.
I mean, we have people like Lisa Nova. I don't even know where she is nowadays. She was one of the first big YouTubers. Shane Dawson isn't as big as he used to be. Another one, Fred.
Oh, I remember Fred.
Annoying Orange.
He was Annoying Orange. That was a TV show, I thought.
No, Annoying Orange started on YouTube.
Well, no wonder the Cartoon Network going downhill. They're giving YouTubers. And was that Nickelodeon too? I know Fred was also on Nickelodeon. He was on. Fred got 3 movies.
Yeah. But ever since then, it's just and Fred was the first was at one point the most subscribed person on YouTube with 1 million subscribers. That was the most subscribed person.
Oh, I remember that. I remember his episode of iCarly.
Yeah, that was where he was there. He was the most well-known person on YouTube for the longest time. And then Nika Higa was that way for the longest time. Then Smosh came along. Then Shane Dawson was kind of big for a couple of years.
They had their 50 minutes of fame, and then it dried up.
And I wonder if that's not going to happen with people like PewDiePie, Ray William Johnson. Well, it already kind of has with Ray William Johnson, but well, to be fair, Ray William Johnson never has to work a day in his life again, but that's a different story.
Didn't already happen with PewDiePie because he said some things.
I don't even know what's going on with PewDiePie. I think PewDiePie is still the most subscribed person on YouTube currently, isn't he?
Maybe. I mean, it's YouTube. This is the most toxic environment. YouTube is a toxic environment. Let's not kid ourselves, people.
Oh, yeah, I know. But PewDiePie right now is still one of regardless of what you think of that, he's probably the most influential one on YouTube currently.
Yeah.
Fine Brothers are up there. In terms of subscriber count, Ray William Johnson, Smosh.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how long. I don't know how Smosh is going to survive without Anthony. We'll see if it continues pleading along, but I don't know.
But yeah, YouTube. Speaking of fan bases for a second, because I was thinking about this last night. We're talking to Red about stuff. Well, we're talking to our good friend Ridley and Tilly stuff, and we're talking about Last Jedi and how critically divisive it was, and how if not only if should, although I think more interesting it can, these next two Star Wars movies win back their fan bases as well. Especially if Star Wars is to have longevity. Last Jedi, like it or hate it. I know we love it. I can admit it's divisive, right?
Yeah. Not necessarily divisive among critics. It's the fans we're talking about.
True, but they're the ones who are paying for it, I guess.
Exactly. Because this is one of the few times I've seen critics absolutely love a movie, and then the fans are just like, nope, yes, no, yes, no, yes.
Hate, love, hate, love, hate, love.
Yeah. In some cases, it's even more divisive than the prequels were.
Probably. I mean, to be fair, we didn't have the internet with the prequels. Well, we did, but...
it wasn't as populated as it is now.
Regardless of how I feel, whether we should cater or not, bend over backwards, I'm a cynical person I am an elitist in that way. No, I kid, but I think the more interesting question. I mean, I know I want a united Star Wars fan base too. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't care what you like or dislike. Like anything Star Wars, like or hate everything Star Wars. I don't care. Whether or not they can. And I say this more in terms of just the sequel trilogy, Han Solo to the left for a second, because you talk to people, reasonable people, and I understand, I really do actually, that just from a conceptual level, they don't like the sequel trilogy, just the concepts alone. They can't, they maybe not either accept them or just don't like them. I don't want to say accept because that sounds like I can't accept this sort of thing in my life. But more just
well, in a way, it is acceptance because it's basically a kind of sense of it's kind of like what you've always said, Joel. 6 kind of ends the movies in a way that people were always happy with, regardless of what you love Return of the Jedi. People were happy with the ending, regardless of.
I mean, it nicely and retroactively, 1 through 6 kind of play out very nicely if you kind of do watch them in chronological order. It's just the fall of the Republic and Palpatine's ride by 3, and then by 6 it's can you feel the love, on Endor.
Yep.
And then 7 says, hey, that all the happy smiles, your trio of heroes you love and admire. That all went down to heck in 6 years after 30 years. Slowly, mind you. The new continuity said they had some good years. They had a good couple years.
Yeah.
But I can't think of something. There are some easy fixes for certain things, like have Episode 9 be like maybe the New Republic is back, or at least the Resistance is in full force, and there's they're the good guys are on the rise, and there's lots of ships, and the First Order is now just trying to survive, and they're the underdogs now. That's some new interesting stuff. But at this point, can you win the naysayers over? I don't care if you're a naysayer or not. By the way, like what you like. I'm being very diplomatic here. Because, Episode 7 tore down that happy ending. Episode 8 pretty much said Luke gave up for a little bit, became a cynic. And just people can't accept, or, I don't want to sound like this is a psychological thing, but, just don't like, or just don't like. I'll say that.
I think what you're trying to say is they just don't like the concept.
Yeah, they just don't like the concept. And I get that. I really do. That's why I when it comes to just post-Return of the Jedi for the old EU, I'm like that to a certain extent. Maybe not Not maybe like an extreme, like I do.
There
I
are
just
bits from the old EU, especially after 6, that you do like.
yes, I just, but there are certain things just conceptually. I don't want to say I hate them, but I'm lukewarm. I don't like
I think part of my,
even if
I
it's
think
executed well, I just like conceptually just can't get behind it.
I think part of my problem with post and just to be real, talk about some of the old EU for a minute. Post Return of the Jedi stuff, it gets kind of
If you like it,
there's
it's fine. By the way,
yeah, there are some parts after
I
Return of the Jedi.
my problem is always post the Thrawn trilogy and post the Dark Empire. Like the farther away you get from six, the more just lukewarm I become on a conceptual level. And again, this
Especially
is conceptually like I don't care. Like this is one of those things where like execution wise, I don't care how well it's done. I just can't get behind it conceptually, and that's my problem. I am aware of this. I have nothing against the author or people who like it and know it's good. Like you can explain to me why it's good, I still won't care. And that's again my problem, my issues.
well, the thing I was going to say, Joel, part of my problem, I'm kind of with you. Some of my issues with post Return of the Jedi stuff is it always came across to me as a bit more,
Science fiction?
not even that, more kind of been there, done that kind of way. In a way, and I might say something. This might spark a lot of people to hate me. It got a bit more anime and influence in certain aspects, just from what I've seen, more than I ever thought Star Wars ever would be.
And you would think that'd be a good thing because I love anime. Could you get some certain examples? So no, don't want people calling you out. Like where does the anime come in?
My thing is the thing that I always. The thing going into the old EU that I always found was a bit strange is just how powerful some people get with the Force. Like stupidly powerful, where I'm like, well, now there's no way you can annihilate that. You can fight some of these people, and not even that. That's more of a power scaling thing for me. I can be made to buy stuff like that, fair enough. But then, the whole thing with the children. That's where I'm starting to
the bloodlines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like even our friend Red Leader, if you're listening, even he got behind the kind of like too many bloodlines here. Like
that's where I'm starting to get like this is start. That's where some of that's coming in. I'm like, that's kind of been there, done that. Sadly.
And to be fair, we're not blaming the whole EU. We're just blaming the bad writers who do this stuff. Like the good writers, like Tim Zahn, Stackpool, Stover. They're great. We like. Even if I can't get behind anything, if they something they did conceptually, it's like I will fully admit they're great writers and they know their Star Wars.
Especially because I love the Old Republic stuff, but the Old Republic wasn't as focused on stuff like that.
See, I have this weird thing where it's like for me, I have easier time accepting things before Return of the Jedi. It's afterwards I kind of have a problem with, even with the sequel, even with the current sequel trilogy, because I always felt like Jedi was where history ended. Like this is where you close the book.
I will say, Joel, on a conceptual level, I always hoped they would adapt some of the stuff in the post EU. But I said if we weren't going to do that, I kind of want them to go further away from all of that and just do their own thing.
I mean, we did to a certain extent, Han, Ben Solo.
Well, I mean, not even with those characters, with just completely new ones.
No, I get you.
I kind of wanted that, but they won me over with it with 7 and 8, so I like that. Also, Joel, I'll say another thing. With what we were given in 7, I don't know what people were expecting from Luke otherwise.
I think they were expecting Grandmaster Luke Skywalker with the Jedi Academy, the New Republic.
The reason I have a hard time even seeing that, Joel, is what Han says to Rey and Finn on the Millennium Falcon.
No, I think the problem is called like all of Episode 7 conceptually. They did not want it. It's sort of like you would have to create a very new story, like a brand new, spanking new story.
Yeah, but I agree with that. There were some people that were like, well, maybe we'll see what Luke's like. Maybe he'll be the one to spark hope. And I'm like, I don't think if y'all are hoping for that, y'all are going to be very disappointed because what they set up, I highly doubt that's going to be the case.
Oh, okay, I get you because it's sort of like, you see like people who came out of Episode 7 like, well, what's Luke doing? Like, seeing him not being such a happy camper.
Yeah, I think, and I wouldn't expect that, especially after Han said that. I'm like, I don't know what y'all were expecting. I know what y'all wanted, but I don't know what y'all expected.
Right, and I think that goes more to Episode Seven's point, just sort of like the concept set up in that movie they didn't want. So it's sort of like, what can we do now to fix that and unite the fan base? I mean, to be fair, on a general audience level, I can see Nine being more of a crowd pleaser. Fight the First Order, take down Kylo Ren, big action. I think a better example, maybe to use a movie, is Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Where people, and I like Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nate. Sorry, Nate. My
Yeah. I
friend.
like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Okay.
But just on a conceptual level, people did not want these things to exist.
Exactly.
And that's sort of my interesting question when it comes to uniting the fan base, especially of Star Wars of late, is how do you convince those who do not want this, or at least this version of Episode 7, you can say maybe the Thrawn trilogy is another version of Episode 7, to exist?
You know what I'll say, Joel? There's something Captain Logan said when talking about Amazing Spider-Man. When we were unsure of the fate of that series and where it was going to go after the whole Sony hack.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain saw this way before when he did the whole "Is rebooting Spider-Man a good idea" video. That was the first Geekvolution video I ever saw, and that was many, many years ago. That was when I was in middle school. He said, I think rebooting Spider-Man is a good idea, but right now I think it's too early.
No, I definitely think that's one of the reasons why those films, at least for some people, were received the way they were. And,
let me finish.
Mm-hmm.
So for the thing with Amazing Spider-Man, I think that was a big part of that, where people still had Raimi on their minds, and relatively so. It wasn't that long that we had Spider-Man 3. It hadn't been that long since that movie had come out.
Mm-hmm.
So people were still with those movies still in their mind. That's what people wanted more of. And I think part of the issue with Star Wars now, I mean, I love that we're getting Star Wars every year now. My thing is, I wonder, Joel, if part of this is not timing.
We've had 15 years away from the prequels and 30 years away from
No. That's not what I mean. I mean in between movies.
Maybe?
To kind of let some of those feelings kind of simmer, to kind of let this concept seed into people's minds a bit more, to let it grow on them, so that maybe these concepts were a bit more welcome than they initially perceived them to be.
Maybe, but then again, not every Star Wars film is connected to the sequel trilogy. Rogue One has nothing to do with the sequel trilogy.
True, but you see what I mean. I mean, relatively, there was only 2 years after 7 that we got Episode 8.
I disagree, though, because we have Marvel, and Marvel kind of has, like, here's Avengers, here's Iron Man 3, Winter Soldier next year.
Well, the analogy where that breaks down is Avengers has not been doing many new concepts in that franchise. Everything has been relatively similar to the comics or whatnot. Now, Thor's a different story. Now, that's where they have been doing new stuff. With Episode 7, there are some new ideas that people who love Star Wars just...
Or recycled ideas, if you believe that, because it is kind of Empire versus Rebellion again.
And regardless of what you say, 7 had a bigger turnout than, or at least critically, than, even fan-wise, than even 8 did in a lot of ways.
What I've noticed is 7 started out with a lot of buzz, and I think over time kind of began to split. Rogue One, I felt, for the most part, was pretty positive, although I think over time it just got a little more lukewarm. Yeah. I think maybe I could be wrong.
And that's
why Last Jedi, that split right away.
And I think that's why I'm curious about the whole time thing. I'm curious if maybe 1 or 2 more years after each other wouldn't have made a little bit more of a difference, especially in regards to. Let me ask you this, Joel. In regards to that, this is another branch of this topic. Do you think hype was maybe part of the reason that it did not sit well with fans?
I think there's a few things. I think one is Luke Skywalker. because he's very important to people, and rightfully so. He's the
Yeah.
hero. I love Luke Skywalker. We all do. We look up to him, and kind of seeing him not be what we all wanted him to be, or what we thought he should be. And that's regardless if you read legend stuff, like just if your mind has this idea of Luke after
If
Return
you
of
have
the
a
Jedi.
bias towards that character, it's hard to go into a movie and not want that, regardless if it's objective or not.
Yeah, exactly. You want Superman to be Superman.
Yeah.
You don't want him cracking people's necks. Although that's more of an execution thing and just a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
You want Luke to be the hero. You are Rey. You are Rey in the situation. You are the one who's holding out the lightsaber to Luke, saying, "Come back. We want you. We love you." And just watch Luke just toss it like Rey is the perfect embodiment of what was going on.
Do you know what I find strange, Joel? This is kind of off topic, but somewhat on. It's a little strange how Batman v Superman didn't have that even more so.
What? I think what do you mean?
In terms of Batman just shooting people, guns blazing, everyone. I figured more fans, especially DC fans, calling foul on that.
I mean, it did.
Well, I mean, more so of the people that still stick around with it. I think a lot more of those people would have cried foul even on that.
I think a good parallel to use Last Jedi is somebody said this on Twitter. This is more like the Iron Man 3 of
Yeah, I thought of that too.
I don't want to get too much of a debate about Iron Man 3. Cole, I love it. You don't. You kind of find lukewarm. So we're kind of on the opposite side here when it comes to Last
Wait,
Jedi.
I thought you said you weren't really.
No, I like Iron Man 3.
I have not seen it in a while. Maybe my opinion of it would change.
I think you should watch it again. I definitely would try to watch it again. I went in pretty much blind with all that stuff, so it's sort of like I just took it on its own terms, and I like it really much, a lot.
The thing is with Iron Man 3, and I'll say this real quick, it isn't that the Mandarin isn't Ben Kingsley.
Mhm.
I'm fine with that, or that the Ben Kingsley isn't the Mandarin you thought he was going to be. I went in expecting him not to be that, and I knew a lot of people were complaining about that before. I'm like, guys, he's not going to be that just from what you've seen. My problem with Iron Man 3, maybe the idea of what they were going for. I'm not a big fan of Guy Pearce.
I mean, again, maybe this is like you are on the side of conceptually you don't like the idea of Guy Pearce being underwhelming because that's the point,
Well, it's not even that he's underwhelming. I just don't care for him as an actor. I found him to be really weak in this.
Okay, I mean that's an acting issue. That's very
Yeah. I remember thinking this could work a lot better. The concept's not the problem. It's that I don't care for this guy. It's kind of like my thing with Tom Cruise, and this is going to spark a whole nother debate. I don't like Tom Cruise no matter how many people say he's a good actor. I cannot stand the guy. Every movie I see him in, he has the exact same expression. Guy Pearce has that with me to a certain extent.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, I didn't have any problem with the acting in Last Jedi. If some of you did, I apologize for that. But what was I saying? It's sort of like I've had this big thing about meta commentary with the sequel trilogy. Sort of like Rey is the Star Wars fan. She is the one who loves everything Star Wars. She's kind of entering this world of Star Wars and kind of coming to some realization that in her mind Star Wars is not perfect. But I think what's great about Rey is that even when she starts to realize, oh yeah, Star Wars is not perfect. It can be schlubby and it lets us down. To quote somebody on YouTube I listened to a while back. But the great thing about Rey is she persists. She says even with that, Star Wars has its problems, but it's still a beautiful thing, and it surrounds us and binds us and unites us all together.
What the thing is about speaking of that, Joel, I think part of the problem a lot of people have with Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Is his final showdown with Kylo.
I always find it interesting. I feel people don't understand that final showdown. Some people don't.
I agree. I fully agree with you, Joel. And the thing when Luke said when Kylo says, "Are you here to save me, save my soul?" and Luke says, "No, I'm not."
But not even just that. I was just saying. You people did get to see the heroic Luke Skywalker. Luke came at the end and saved everybody and sparked hope.
And the thing I want to, and I said this on Twitter maybe a week or two ago. Luke never had the intention of going into that fight to kill Kylo.
No, I don't think he.
He never did, especially given it was a force projection. He had no intention of killing him.
He did the ultimate Jedi thing, used the Force for defense and knowledge.
And one of my favorite and one of my now all time favorite Star Wars lines is when Luke looks at Kylo, says, "If you cut me," he says, "If you cut me down
Strike
now,
me down.
if you strike me down now, I'll always be with you, just like your father."
I know, it's such a beautiful line. It's such a nuanced line. Yeah, but back to the point is that and the whole ties all together is that I don't know what you can do at this point for people who don't like the sequel trilogy, just on a conceptual level. And if you don't like it on a conceptual level, I understand. It's almost like the reverse prequels. I feel where people have problems less with the concepts, but more just the execution.
I'll be interested, Joel, going forward, because it's like people said with the prequels. Because it is Star Wars. People with the prequels, even though they didn't like them, they felt like they had to go.
What? Wait, could you repeat that? Sorry, I kind of lost you.
I said the thing with the prequels is people may not have liked them, but they still felt like they had to go because it was Star Wars.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
I wonder how much of fan reaction is even going to change that. Honestly,
I'm curious how it will affect episode 9 and Han Solo, I guess, to a certain extent, because it's sort of like I feel like episode 7 started these concepts, and that kind of drew a line in the sand for people who just don't like the concept, and which again is fine. Because you have, the legend stuff did its own thing, and this is doing kind of its own thing too. So it's very much break from a timeline in a way. And then
I would almost argue the same thing for Solo to a certain extent, because some people have been having trouble.
I would disagree, because Solo kind of nicely blends some of the. Well,
that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, just in terms of this is not the person you remembered him to be. This is not what you expected. Kind of with Alden.
Or we just didn't want this movie because it seemed pointless too.
Yeah. Well, the thing I always hear now is that they just don't appreciate that kind of Han Solo. Now that I'm seeing more trailers, I'm starting to buy it a bit more. Especially now that I'm in the theater, I'm starting to buy Alden as him a bit more.
I like him with Chewie. When he's with Chewie, he's really good.
Yes.
And exactly. I think I'm glad about that, because I feel like if you botch the Han-Chewie relationship, that's it. You lose.
Yeah.
If you can get that right, then you have at least you get the key stuff. But more to my point, 7 started out these concepts, and then Last Jedi just doubled down on them. The Resistance is now the Rebellion. We only have like a handful of people. The First Order is going to take over the galaxy. People didn't like that, and that's fine, because they wanted maybe a war against the Yuuzhan Vong. That's fine too. They wanted lots of Jedi, not just one Jedi again. And I don't know. Well, you can fix certain things, like Rey having her own little Jedi crew. That'd be cool, and bigger ships and all that good stuff. But
I think the final thing I'll say about this,
but
Joel,
it kind of, in their mind, did harm to the big three, and that kind of is the ultimate sin.
I will say this, Joel, as my final thing. Mm-hmm. I can sympathize with people who say that, because there are times where even if something is objectively good, I can't bear myself to watch it. I don't like the movie Room. That's a very difficult movie for me to watch, just on its ideas and on a conceptual level.
I'm like that too.
That is an incredibly difficult movie for me to watch. That being said, I think it's a brilliant movie, and I understand why people love it. I can't bring myself to watch that movie time and time again. I don't enjoy the experience. And I said the same thing with the film Mother.
Right.
Just on a conceptual level, that movie is again I have been building myself against.
No, I agree. I feel that way about certain EU things from Star Wars. Not because I don't think they're bad. I can't accept them as part of my Star Wars, and that's again my problem. No argument you give me will change my mind.
And the thing I will live off is,
if you like them, that's fine.
If you like them, that's fine. The thing is, for me, I go into films with an open mind. I have to.
Yeah.
with as many films as I have seen, I've learned to have to do that. And I've come around on films that I thought were going to be the stupidest, most unimaginative films, and they ended up being some of the most brilliant films I've ever seen. Maybe that'll happen with the movie Tag with Jeremy Renner. I mean, it's a movie about a couple of adults having a lifelong game of tag. That could be the shittiest movie in existence, but it could work.
That actually kind of does sound interesting. If you did, if I feel like we can do something with that.
So it all depends. I have to go into movies with an open mind. So I can't not go see these movies just because they're not what I like. Now, if they are objectively not good and they are just in your face like they're not even trying, that's a different story.
Right, or sometimes it's sort of like it's sort of like the reverse too. Like I guess the prequels were to a certain extent, where it's like great concepts, execution is to be desired for certain areas. It's sort of weird how people react. Like I know people who just don't like the prequels just purely on execution. I can't get behind the concept because of it, or it's the reverse.
I'm sort of like that to an extent. The funny thing is, I've come more on Attack of the Clones side than I ever had before when we last watched it.
Yeah, that was a weird positive experience.
That was a weird experience, but that is the most I have ever liked that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could say it. I think Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman have chemistry. I can buy it.
I genuinely think they do. There are times where it doesn't come across that way, but there are scenes where there is definitely chemistry.
You're like, okay, I can see these two young birds falling in love. People do say the sequel trilogy is poorly executed as well. If you think that, that's fine. No holds bar against you. I mean, I can always say stuff like, Force Awakens didn't do much to flesh out the politics and maybe the universe a bit. And, the nostalgia thing did not help.
Yeah.
Last Jedi kind of has some bits of tonal stuff with, like, general hugs. I know people don't like that. They make good points about it. The humor. So, we just did a discussion on how to unite the Star Wars fan base, and...
No, we didn't come to a definite, but I guess that's just our thoughts on it.
Yeah, I could honestly see Solo maybe getting a more positive overall reception.
I hope so, because I really want to like that movie. I learned Paul Bettany's in it, so that's an even bigger plus.
Yeah, but he's a reshoot third in for another dude.
I'm very fine with that. If they got Paul Bettany, sure.
Maybe if you're gonna, maybe the man, maybe this is a diversity thing. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it's sort of like, white dude replaces African American actor. So.
It sucks.
I know.
But I like that we're getting Paul Bettany. I like that the idea of Paul Bettany being in a Star Wars film. Also, we finally get to see Woody Harrelson be in the Star Wars film.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a white dude, at least Paul Bettany. So.
And of course, we got Emilia Clarke. So I'll be interested to see what they do with her.
Yeah, I kind of think it might be a more positive review, unless you just didn't want this movie to exist in the first place. But I think overall it might, because it's classic OT era. There's a lot of world building going on. It's Han Solo. They're not going to change him up too much.
I hope not.
He's going to become the Han Solo we all know and love. So
yeah,
it's kind of an origin.
The only thing that will kill Solo for me, Joel, and the thing is, some movies have done this, and they have failed because of it. I could not give you an example where you see the person that you know from another thing slowly become the person you know them to be. If Solo says it's going to do that, well, the thing is, if it tries doing that, but we get to the end and he isn't like that, and that was the whole point of the movie, then I'm like, okay, y'all have really dropped the ball on this.
I see. Like, if he's not cynical and... Well, to be fair, he has to at least become what he is at the start of A New Hope. He can't be what he is at the end of A New Hope, so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of still different, but not to
That's what I mean. The one we know at the beginning of episode 4, if he doesn't become that at the end of Solo or at some of that, and they're like, oh, we'll do another movie where we get that, I'm like, y'all are stretching your things out here, y'all.
I mean, we've read the Solo trilogy novel book, so where it kind of goes into his origins, so that's the thing. But yeah, I get that.
So they have So they at least have to do that, and I hope. I'm coming more and more on Alden's side as we go along.
I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's
I
gonna
think
be
he'll be okay.
like on a scale of I don't know, better than Hayden Christensen. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe yeah. I mean,
Maybe I think it'll. I think the thing with him is it'll depend on who he's paired with.
oh yeah, like when he was Chewie, brilliant. It's
Yeah,
like when Hayden Christensen was Obi-Wan,
yeah.
brilliant. Or Ian McDermott, brilliant. Natalie
So
Portman, sometimes.
we'll just have to see where they go from here. I hope Woody Harrelson is great in this. He's great in everything I see him in, though, so that's not going to be too hard.
Yeah. So now that we talked about trying to bring balance to the Star Wars universe,
Well, yeah, there's another thing before we get into that. There's another thing I feel like I wanted to say.
all right. Yeah.
The one speaking of which, this is just another thing I want to bring up. Did you see the pictures of the rest of the Pooh characters on Twitter and Facebook, Joel?
I saw a picture of them on the beach, and that was adorable.
Yeah, that was adorable. They all look it looks like it's going to be so good. I am Joel. I never thought I'd get to a day where I got to see Ewan McGregor get to play Christopher Robin.
Oh, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for that movie.
The idea of Ewan McGregor playing an older Christopher Robin, not a cynical one, mind you, a one that is actually struggling with a moral decision. He wants to do good things, but he's put in a corner.
Definitely. I mean, it's kind of Hook. It's kind of like Hook, but
It's kind of like Hook, but it feels like it almost feels in a way more warranted than Hook. It almost feels natural, especially the way Jim Cummings sounds as Pooh. It sounds exactly what I hoped it would sound like, what he'd sound like.
oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And he sounds exactly like Pooh. It sounds like he hasn't changed a bit, especially when he said, I forget exactly what Ewan McGregor says.
I've cracked.
He says, I'm cracked. I'm cracked. No cracks, a few wrinkles maybe. I'm like, oh, that's so good.
I know. Oh man, I'm so hyped for this film. I'm gonna see it in theaters.
Let me ask you this, Joel. Have you seen the trailer for Mary Poppins Returns?
No, I have not. Well, I actually think I saw a little bit of it.
I'll be interested.
I'm not really into that one.
I'll be interested to see how it turns out.
Same. I'm not that into it though.
I like that Emily Blunt's playing Mary Poppins. I think that's a good choice.
I mean, yeah, I think she'll be fine.
I think she'll be good, and also Meryl Streep's going to be Mary Poppins' sister, so I'm looking forward to that regardless.
That's gonna be interesting.
I hope that movie turns out well.
Me too. I don't know. I don't know, man.
I was a little weirded out that they were doing a sequel to it because I'm like, I don't know how that's going to be received.
Oh, definitely.
That's another discussion paired with Jedi is I don't know how people are going to react to Mary Poppins Returns, especially because that is kind of the pinnacle of Disney in one movie is the original Mary Poppins.
Yeah, although it's a little different with Star Wars because I feel like Star Wars was meant for sequels. Mary Poppins was not.
That's what I mean. Well, just in terms of the sequel
and
trilogy,
nobody asked for it.
Exactly. I'm like, that's a very strange. I mean, if it's good, sure, but
I mean, to be fair, I'm very much against the idea of asking for a movie in order to make it. Inherently, in terms of art, but yeah.
My thing with it is, I hate to say this, Joel, asking for a movie, that's one thing, but when an audience just isn't going to see it, that's where you have to kind of consider, well, we can't not sit here and say every movie can be made, because sadly it can't. Some movies just on a conceptual level won't do well in a big budget setting, no matter what way you slice it.
Yeah, you can't have all those high-minded movies. That's why they always
art
house films.
Which sucks, and some of them do become big budgets, but a lot of them don't.
Some of them do at least become cult classics that become big budget later.
I mean, I can sit here all day and profess my love for Blade Runner 2049. No one saw that movie. No one saw that movie.
I mean, it's kind of funny. The original Star Wars could have been a cult movie that nobody saw, but that kind of it somehow got everything correct and exploded into the great phenomenon we
Yeah.
know now.
Well, I think part of the thing with Blade Runner, with 2049, that you've always said, Joel, is no. Even when I first saw it, I'm like, this. I don't think this is going to be good.
I never thought it wasn't going to be bad. I just didn't think it was for me.
Well, the thing with me is, I thought to myself, like, Blade Runner sequel, that just sounds really cliche and easy. And then I'm like, oh no, this is just more Blade Runner. This is more. It's tonally Blade Runner. It feels like it's in that universe. And that's another strange thing, Joel, is how is it that Blade Runner 2049 can do some new concepts, kind of like Star Wars does, but even in a weird way be more well received than even Star Wars was?
Well, for one thing, because nobody saw it. It had such a low bar. I mean, Star Wars has a lot of baggage behind it.
Yeah,
Regardless, I feel you got the you have the pro and con legends, canon people. You
yeah.
got pro anti prequel, pro anti original trilogy. Certain ideas of how Luke, Han, and Leia should be 30 years later. It comes with a lot of baggage.
Actually, no, Joel, a better comparison. Here's a better comparison. How is it that Star Wars Last Jedi is that divisive, and yet parts of Logan aren't as much?
Okay, that's an interesting one. Okay, that is an interesting one because Logan's the same thing in
Because
terms
that's
of
because in terms of concepts, I mean, if we're talking about that alone, what they did with Professor X in that movie, Joel, that should have killed a lot of people's love for that movie instantly, no matter how you slice it.
or just seeing Wolverine being a depressing person
Yeah,
who dies on the most unceremonious way possible. Although
yeah.
I did see one guy who wanted the more comic booky grandstand kind of X-Men
Mhm.
movie.
But we have a movie like that was financially successful, and even yet that people calling it one of the best superhero films ever made.
Heck, Samurai
While you,
Jack did the same thing that year too. It
yeah,
had Samurai Jack return. He's broken. He needs a girl to help him out. Um, Funny enough, it's always the women. It's always women.
yeah. But
So
it's stuff like that that makes me think it's not as for Star Wars. I agree it's not as black and white as that, but it's interesting to dissect some of these things in kind of similar situations and how different they're received.
yeah, it really is because I mean, to be fair, one could make the argument that Force Awakens kind of drags down Last Jedi a bit in terms of the stuff it didn't set up, like
Yeah, yeah.
Snoke, the political machinations of what's going
Mm-hmm.
on. Logan's just one movie that kind of nicely sets up everything you need, and
Well,
Samurai.
technically, Logan's not even setting up. It's kind of in a way a really bitter ending to this, kind of a bitter ending to some of this franchise.
Yeah, it is really odd that Logan, Last Jedi, and Samurai Jack all came out the same year.
Especially considering Logan did the other thing of killing basically all the mutants off,
Yeah,
which was an even ballsier decision. When I heard that in the trailer, I'm like, they're all gone. I'm like, what the hell?
eh,
And it's like I said in a paper, I said the thing that makes Logan work the best is it is a movie in and of itself. It's a movie about cultural extinction. But even that, with that in mind, moving on in spite of that and how you move on from it. And the answer to that is in some cases you don't.
do you think that maybe Logan got the reception it did was because strangely Logan and X-Men don't have that baggage? Because well,
I
think about it. The Logan was always not continuity. Was never going to be part of the grand X-Men continuity. We knew
well
there was another continuity out there where the X-Men were doing their thing.
to be fair, Joel, that breaks down because for a while Logan was part of that continuity, and no matter what way you slice it, Logan in a way is.
Well, they're so vague about it, though. It's
Yes,
so.
but no matter how you say, I mean, Charles Xavier as Patrick Stewart is here. That is apart from that franchise that's being tied up. That's a loose end that's being tied up. Wolverine's that way.
Yeah, but which Charles Xavier? Is it the one from the Days of Future Past Future, or is it the one from the? Is it James McAvoy? Is it some third timeline?
That's It's like people said. I don't really think it matters.
Yeah, and I think that may be another reason why, because
But the thing, even with that, Joel, is the other thing. Going off of that, no matter what you say, those are people that we know from a decade prior, because we had a lot of, because of the X-Men movies. We had the 3 X-Men movies that people loved, regardless of what people think about them. They were probably considered to be some of the best superhero movies for their time.
I mean, yeah,
And you have and there are people trepidatious about what Logan would do with those, with Xavier, even just with that version.
that's a good point. I don't know. I really don't. Like, it's such a weird, just on a like observing kind of level. Regardless of your judgment. Like I keep saying, because I want to be very diplomatic about this. Like what you like,
Yeah,
hate what you hate. If you hate Last Jedi, fine. There's some good reasons to it to not like it. If you have,
maybe.
I mean, Star Wars is a very unique thing, and
Let
X
me
Men is
point.
not.
Let me point something out to you, Joel, that I didn't point out before. I think the reason why Logan was received the way it was, whereas Star Wars: The Last Jedi, no matter whether you like it or hate it, it still feels Star Wars.
Maybe also because X Men continuity's only been around for 10 years.
Well,
Or no,
not only
not
that.
10 years, 18 years. Well, Star Wars has been around for 30,
Well, the other thing
and we've been
was
waiting for a long time for
well,
Luke
the
to
thing
come
with
back.
Logan too is Logan is not your typical superhero movie. In fact, it doesn't even feel like it at points.
Nah, it's its
It's
own
it is
thing.
a very different type of movie.
It's a movie.
It's like what someone said. It's a western at its core. It's a western. It's a grown-up movie. It is not a movie that people expected X-Men to put out.
Right. Like, and also, Star Wars Episode 8 is still Star Wars Episode 8. It is
Yeah.
8 of 8. Um, if you want, you can chronologically watch 1 through 8, and it's all one big story.
Yeah.
Even if it really isn't. I kind
Yeah.
of accepted it's not at this point. To a certain extent. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Like Samurai Jack also did the whole hero broken thing,
Mhm.
and we've been waiting for that for a long time too.
Yeah.
And that was mostly well received. People did have problems with the final episode because it was very rushed.
Mhm.
But just conceptually, people I thought were behind it. It's weird. I'll just say that it's very strange.
Yeah. It's a very strange thing.
And
Now,
we're not saying you're strange for not liking it. We're
yeah,
just saying
exactly.
it's strange.
It's a strange occurrence, especially in the same year.
Yeah, it's a strange occurrence in the same year. Yeah.
Now, the original reason Joel and I were going to do the shoot in the Skype. Uh,
We won't spend this long on it. I don't think anymore. But
no, but Joel and I said there's a little movie that came out technically today. So
it's just a little thing. It's a little indie film, and it was it built off a bunch of little other indie films that have been going on for 10 years.
Yeah, for about 10 years,
Ever heard that Marvel thing? You've heard about
Yeah.
that Marvel thing, right, Cole? That was
Yeah, I think
Avengers.
I've heard it off and on. Yeah.
I like that Captain America guy. He's cool. But no, seriously.
I also like that rabbit. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, the rabbit. But in all seriousness, no. We're gonna talk a little bit about Infinity War. We're not gonna talk much because Cole's hopefully gonna join us in a couple days of this recording.
I will say though, just full warning: this will have a few spoilers lodged into this. So if you don't want any spoilers, I would recommend stopping here and coming back after you've seen the movie at least. Because honestly, this is a very, very difficult movie to even begin talking about without doing some spoilers.
Let's try not to spoil the ending and a
No.
few surprises.
Yes. I will say going into this, Joel, this was probably the largest crowd I've seen for a movie since, even more so than Star Wars.
Strangely, I was in a very quiet theater today.
I was in a very there were lines for people to get into the lines to get into the theater.
And
I have never seen that at my place before.
Right. There were some lines, but I think they were going to another showing. I went to
Yeah,
12:10, and it was a Friday morning, so
it was very interesting to see just how excited a lot more people were. Which because was strange. I didn't hear a lot of fanfare like you said about it either, Joel, until I got to the theater.
this
I
movie
even
snuck up
I
on me big time.
Yeah, I even had there were my local news station was there interviewing people there,
Oh wow.
which is unlike any movie that's been released.
I mean, this is 10 years of this Marvel Cinematic
Yeah.
Universe culminated finally. And might I just say, you were right, Cole. This movie grabs hold of you pretty quickly at the
Yes.
beginning.
You know that because Joel, the thing I was so worried about, especially across all these Marvel movies, is what are they going to do with Thanos? How is he going to be played up to be? You know from the opening sequence what you're in for, especially in regards to Thanos.
Oh yeah, like no
And I will.
spoilers, but Thanos people is worth it. Do not fear, Thanos is worth it. He
Yes,
finally got off the chair and
and
is
and
ready
I
to
will
do
say
some
this.
business.
I will say he's probably the best villain we've had in the MCU this far. And like Killmonger from Black Panther, Joel, he honestly believes what he's doing is right.
Right. Now, to be fair, I have heard some minor critique that he's not like Thanos from the comics.
Yes. The odd thing is I've heard that Thanos from the comics can be kind of generic. So I've heard he go back and forth from some people.
We'll talk about that more probably in our big panel.
Yeah.
Because we'll
The
have more
weird
comic book experts. We're more movie people when it comes to Marvel.
Yes. But just as a movie, he is a phenomenal villain. And oddly enough, the effects they use for him, it looks pretty legit.
What I love about Thanos, and I'll again say this in my make review as well, but what I love about Thanos is much like Wrath of Khan from Khan for Wrath of Khan, you always feel his presence even when he's not on the screen.
Yes.
He drives this movie. He's like Thanos is
Well,
doing this and that. So
in a way, this is his movie.
yeah, this movie should be called Avengers Infinity War. This movie should be called Thanos
Yes,
Infinity War.
it is very much his story, and especially there are scenes where you're like, this guy is clearly a madman, sure, but there are scenes where he feels emotion. This guy clearly has a lot more going on in his head than he lets on.
He's which Tube you might not like because it's not like the comic, but he's not just the big smiley evil dude.
Yeah, he's very much a very complex villain with there's a lot of debate, a lot of extreme debate to go on in terms of just his philosophy and how he views his plan.
Right, and probably if you like, and obviously if you like or dislike the version of Thanos you're getting.
Yeah, but he's an extremist, sure, but
Is he
throughout the
wrong?
movie,
Well, no, I think he is wrong.
well, yeah, he's wrong, but I can sort of see where he's coming from to an extent.
I can make a very good Star Wars reference to his character. I'm not going to say this, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm trying to try. Hopefully, maybe Cole will figure this out. He is Darth Vitiate in some respects, I feel. I'm not going to say why, because
I can kind of see that, yeah.
Because I'm going to spoil the ending.
I want to say, Red might get this. Red might.
Oh, sorry, Cole.
Red might get this. I had a little bit of Darth Freya in this.
I feel sorry for nobody who knows Star Wars and are watching our podcast, but
I feel like, but I kind of not now. Thanos is a lot more one-sided than Trey is. Don't get me wrong, but
and
there was
has his own is going full out with his plan.
Yeah, but there are certain similarities with that just come across in Thanos, especially also the first scene you see him when he fights the Hulk and. Spoilers, yeah, he fights the Hulk, and he basically he pounds the hell out of the Hulk.
Spoilers. I'll put minor spoilers in the
Put it in the title.
In the title. I'll put it in the title. So,
but
yeah.
when he beats the Hulk into submission, I'm like, oh, I know it. Oh, okay, so that's what we're in for.
Definitely.
Because he takes the Hulk down like it's nothing.
Yeah, to be very spoiler free about it, Thanos you already feel his presence. just when he first shows up, and it's like, okay, like already I'm like, oh yeah, yep, this was worth the wait.
And the further it goes, and the more stuff happens. Also, the interactions with Tony, Doctor Strange, and Peter were really good too.
Exactly, and the Guardians. I won't go into
Yes.
that. That's spoiler territory.
There's a big the Guardians are a big part in this movie. Not all of them, but certain ones play major roles in this film, especially Gamora and Quill. Quill especially.
This was, I again, I would agree with people who say maybe you shouldn't have called this Avengers because kind of wasn't Avengers about the Avengers. Well, it was Tony. I think definitely.
Yeah,
They did a good job with Tony, but not like Cappy. Like Cap didn't get much. Not really his movie.
though some people have. I'm trying to think of what I can say without completely giving stuff away.
Avengers films have always felt more like Tony Stark centric movies.
Yes.
This doesn't.
This is.
I feel like if you were to give who are the main characters of this movie, probably Thor, Gamora, and Peter.
Gamora, Peter, Tony.
Peter Quill, not Peter Parker.
Peter, Gamora,
Thor.
I'd say Tony to a certain extent.
I definitely feel a lot of what his arc has been building up since maybe even the first Fireman, definitely.
Especially even especially with Iron Man 3, there's a good continuation of something from 3 in this movie that I really appreciated. It's a beginning. It's the first scene we see with Tony.
I won't go into that much, but yeah, but nobody feels sidelined. Nobody feels like, why are you here?
Yeah. Now, to be fair, not everybody gets as much to do as some people. To be fair, I kind of expected that.
Right. Some people are just there. Well, not in a bad way, but
not in a bad way. Everyone at least gets their own moment. I will say the one I was the most disappointed with, Joel. I was disappointed with Bucky.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed with Bucky.
He's just there.
And that really sucks too.
Yeah.
Especially because after Black Panther kind of sets him up, he does not really have a big role in this film.
Yeah, he doesn't really have an arc. I'm sorry, but that's kind of a spoiler.
I will spoil one thing just so people asking about if this character is here or not. There are 2 people from the movies you've seen previous who are not here. I will go ahead and say this. Hawkeye and Ant-Man are not present in this movie. They're mentioned, but they are not there.
Yeah, well, Ant-Man's getting his own movie next year, so
expecting this year, yes.
Okay.
Next year is Captain Marvel.
Right. Right.
Also, speaking of which, Joel, I found you were right. Ben Mendelsohn is in Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
And I learned that Jude Law apparently is playing a previous incarnation of Captain Marvel, and he's kind of Brie Larson's mentor. So that's really cool to hear.
Also, Ronan the Accuser's coming back too.
That'll be interesting to see if they do anything with him.
Give him some development. That'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. For what he worked with in First Guardians, I liked him all right in the final battle, but that's about it.
Also, something I like about this movie is how the Russo brothers are very good at their continuity and connecting things together, which I like.
Especially in regards to tone. Tonally, these feel like the same characters.
Well, not just tone, but certain aspects and plot threads that haven't been picked up for a while. Some really big ones that make the whole grand arc even better. I won't say what they are, but
I also like the Iron Spider for Spider-Man, because there's a line where he says, "Can't save a neighborhood if there's no neighborhood to save." So I like that justification of using the Iron Spider.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mini spoilers again.
Now to be fair, they don't overuse the Iron Spider a lot. So if you think it's just going to be all that, no, believe me, it isn't.
No, I liked how they paired up people.
Yes, I do too. Especially, I loved. Oddly enough, and I never thought I'd say this, I really love Thor and Rocket here.
Oh yeah, they get some stuff to do. Again, we're minor spoilers. We're gonna minor spoiler here. I don't want to go too much in the lines. Which is why I said, Cole, this will be a mini review and not a full-fledged one. I guess maybe we should try to think more broadly instead of details.
The other thing I'll say in terms of broadness, I agree with people who say this film can be uneven at times. I can see that from time to time. To be fair, I don't know how that could have been helped.
I thought it was pretty even. I thought the humor was needed a lot of
No,
the
I,
time.
no, I said no. I said I meant the not the humor. I mean I meant
Characters?
plot wise. It can be kind of uneven in how scenes are structured.
Maybe this is somebody said this on Twitter. It's like Mr. Tar's reviews. He said like this is the last Jedi of Marvel films, and that's
Yeah.
just the non-spoiler I'm gonna get. Um, but
It
definitely,
it is not your typical straightforward narrative. It is straightforward because scenes flow together, but it's not straightforward in the traditional sense. And I can see some people having issues with that.
I always like it when movies do that. I like being a little experimental.
Yeah.
But
But I think the reason people complain about this, not everybody gets what they'd like for them to do.
yeah, which
And people can fall into the background a bit more. Also, I'll say another good thing. I really love Scarlet Witch and Vision here. I think both of them are really good.
oh yeah, they're great. Yeah, here's something broad and cool, I guess we can say. Do you think, much like I guess Logan, do you think this is going to be a movie that changes the foundation of superhero movies moving forward? Or even Black Panther, I guess, to a certain extent, because that
I
has
think
the diversity thing going for it.
I think in a way it has to. And I will say, how can I say this? I don't know where we go forward with this.
I mean, I have some speculation, but that's
I have
spoilers.
speculation, but I don't know definitely where we go from here. There's some and the impact it leaves on the characters going forward.
We can't get mention this without spoiling things, so I won't say any more.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do love how just this is what cinematic universes are made for. Seeing all these characters who we've grown to love, seeing all their movies, seeing every thread that was sewn tie in together. Some nicer than others, mind you. But just seeing it all sort of culminate here and now.
The other thing too, I'll say is when I saw reviews for this movie at first, they were saying, "Oh, there's some shocking moments and some surprises." I'm like, "How the hell could they surprise us?" I'm like, "What the hell could they possibly do to surprise us?" And then I saw, I'm like, "Oh yeah, there are some surprises. That's pretty damn cool."
Oh yeah, there's one surprise that my heart just skipped a beat.
And there's another surprise too, either after or before that. I'm like, "Oh, that's really damn cool."
Yeah. So yeah, we both liked it.
Yeah, I really, really thoroughly. I'm gonna try to see it before we do our mega review again. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, just based on.
I might be able to if I can convince certain things to happen.
The thing is, I don't know how. The thing is, I don't know how crowds for the theaters are going to be for the next couple of days. That's going to be telling to see if I see this movie again. Because there's a lot of things that I saw the first time that I'm like, I need to let this sit. I need to let this kind of.
Oh yeah, I came out of that theater just kind of all shocked and spaced out.
Yeah.
But in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
Sort of similar to how I felt with Logan. But I feel like
not that kind of, not the same kind of, sort of. The thing is, if I use the word here, that's going to give a lot away. It was very impactful. It was all very impactful, like Logan's ending.
Definitely. Although I think I would see this again before I saw Logan.
Yeah, well, this one's a lot more
fun.
Happier too, if I can even say that.
It's jokier.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give too much away. So yeah, that's our little Infinity War review, folks.
Basically, what we're telling you is go see it right now.
Go see it.
Why are you even still here? Go.
Get out of here. Go. Get lost. Vamonos.
Let me ask you another question. Speaking of other movies, Joel, are you excited for Deadpool 2 at all?
I didn't even remember that was a thing.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about it too. I'm like, oh yeah, that is happening.
I don't know. Part of me wants to see it just because I like the first one. Fine.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I can have one trashy franchise, can't
I? Yeah. The other thing is, and it's funny, Josh Brolin gets to play two characters in a Marvel film.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I saw the Venom trailer during this.
Yeah. Let me say this, Joel, and I've been saying this. Honestly, this is the trailer they should have started with.
Yeah, it was more interesting. I'll give it
Yeah,
that.
this is the trailer they should have started with. The first trailer they released, I'm like, this is really it's really boring. Doesn't give me much. Doesn't leave me excited for much. This at least shows me stuff.
Yeah, Venom looks cool.
He looks fine. CGI is not finished as you can tell, but he looks fine.
Eddie
I
Brock.
also I also like the reporter standpoint. They're keeping that sound, which I like.
Yeah, that was cool. Like cool. Tom Hardy, pretty good.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. Well, the thing is, Tom Hardy is always good. No matter what movie he's in, he's going to be good, and no matter what you put him in, he's a
Yeah.
great actor.
Yep. I
That
can
being
concur.
that, and I like that there's a bit more humor in it, and I was surprised with that. I will say, Joel, it borderlines a little bit on kind of having a tone similar to Suicide Squad.
It looked just kind of generic, if you ask me.
Yeah, it says your inner anti-hero. I'm like, are we really using that here? Really?
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at right now. Oh,
Ugh.
if they do Carnage in this movie, I hope he's at least somewhat decent because I love the idea that Carnage is kind of a psychopathic serial killer in a symbiote. That just is interesting to me.
Yep. I get that.
I hope they do not generify Carnage if he's even the villain.
I think it's gonna be that scientist dude who's kind of the evil guy.
I hope not. I hope they just make a new symbiote altogether. That'd be even better. They got
Yeah.
plenty. They got plenty of symbiotes to choose from.
Yeah.
Um, I Joel, let me ask you this: what is the likelihood that these Sony M Spider Verse movies are succeed?
I can see the Lord Miller one doing pretty good.
What's the Miller one?
That's the Miles Morales Spider Verse one.
No, I mean in terms of live action.
Oh. Well, I think the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel can be good.
Yeah,
I think
but in
that's
terms of just the other stuff in the Spider Verse, especially now that especially since they basically halted Black and Silver, which I'm like, good. I don't understand what you were thinking about even trying to do with that.
if it's generic, I can see Venom bombing.
Yeah. Honestly, just from the trailers, that's kind of what I'm seeing thus far. Sadly, especially you're putting all your bank, Sony, on trying to make Venom, and then you kind of go this route. I'm like, the problem with Venom is not that it's not what I'm used to. It's just it's not inspired.
Well, I've never been one for something that's like inspired. I just, sort of like,
Well, that's another way of saying it. Kind of just looks very generic,
yeah,
especially for doing something like this. It's so been there, done that I don't know if fans alone are going to save this movie.
No, you know me. I'm kind of the guy who like doesn't have to be like, oh, we did this already. Why are we doing this again? I'm always down for trying it again.
Too.
Me and my anti-elitism when it comes to these sorts of things, Cole, or just my very lack of standards. But
My issue here, though, is that even with that involved, I'm like,
it doesn't look executed well as well.
it's got to be executed well. Otherwise, y'all are banking really hard on this, and y'all are choosing probably the least interesting approach to it. Y'all probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the whole concept thing we were talking about. Like, as I said, certain things I will not accept on a conceptual level. Although I try to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, I especially when it comes to like real life things. Well, not real life things, but
I'll even
like
say that,
diverse and cultural issues.
yeah, especially considering this, Joel. I'll say this: a Venom movie to me is not an issue. I would be fine with a Venom movie.
No, it's all about the execution, which
Exactly. And the thing is, with these kinds of movies, especially Venom, there is some fans for it. But the thing is,
I
people
certainly know a guy who actually is very excited for this. So
the thing with Venom is people are only going to see it if it's good. I highly doubt there's enough of a fan clummoxing for a Venom movie.
Definitely.
That's going to save your movie. They're only going to see it if it's good, especially after Spider-Man 3.
Ooh, well, there are people who do like that version. It's just,
Oh, not me.
Well, that's a debate for another day about the whole Spider-Man.
I'll say the Venom that looks great there. It's just how they portray him. He's very
I like kill people.
Yeah, I lost. Kill Peter Parker. I'm gonna kill him. Let's have fun. Let's team up. It's like Cap says, "Hey, you look evil and angry. You hate Peter. Oh, me too. Let's team up."
Hey, this person doesn't look evil at all. My name is the Devil. I am evil Satan. With Tom Hardy is Terra from Kingdom Hearts.
I hope that it's good. I want Venom to be good. I don't want Sony to outright fail.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new Spider-Man movie though.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can't talk about that without spoiling either, but you know.
Yeah.
What was? Did you see the trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout?
Yes, I did.
Strangely, it actually looks decent.
You don't like the Mission Impossible movies?
The problem with, and I said this on Twitter.
Oh yeah, you don't like Tom Cruise.
I am not a big fan of Tom Cruise.
I always heard the J.J. Abrams one was pretty good, and then there was one.
I'm not to say the franchise isn't good. It's just it's not my. I'd rather watch James Bond than Mission Impossible. Maybe I need to see the originals to really get a full handle on it.
I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies.
I saw Rogue Nation, and that was all right.
Wasn't one done by
Abrams? Yes.
No, not Abrams. The director of Tomorrowland.
Brad Bird.
I thought he did one.
He might.
Or was it Matthew Vaughn? I don't remember. Let's see.
You're thinking of Kingsman, Joel.
Maybe. Yeah. Mission Impossible movies. Here we go. It's not 3. It was Ghost Protocol. Yeah, Brad Bird directed Ghost Protocol.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize he directed that. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
If I go to see Mission Impossible Fallout, the only reason I'll go is just to see Henry Cavill beat the shit out of Tom Cruise.
That's always fun.
Especially because the one line I love from that trailer is when Henry Cavill says to his boss, he says, "How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?" I'm like, that's a good line.
Very telling for a CIA agent as well.
Yeah, that's like. I also love them mixing a Imagine Dragons song with the Mission Impossible theme. That's great. Whoever did the sound mixing for that, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just not a Mission Impossible person.
And the other thing I'll say about Tom Cruise is I like that he does his own stunts. I give him props for doing that.
Yep, that was good.
He's a very dedicated actor. I'll give him that.
Did you see a trailer for a movie about 2 people stuck in the middle of the ocean?
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific than that, Joel.
It's a man and a woman. They fell in love. They're in the middle of the ocean. The man is broken ribs and shattered leg. Their boat is all destroyed because of a hurricane.
You're talking about Tarzan?
No, this is a trailer in the movie theater.
What was it called?
I have no idea.
I've never heard of it.
What about Megalodon?
Yes, I did see that.
I saw Jurassic World 2. I saw...
Let me say something about the Meg real quick. That movie looks like a really cheap sci-fi meets a really bad B movie like Piranha 3D.
Hey, I know a lot of people who would like that. They love their cheap sci-fi.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be bad, but it just you know exactly what you're getting when you see that trailer.
I know. I kind of get a little freaked out though because the ocean's kind of a scary place.
Hey, I love the ocean. I can't relate.
Jurassic.
I just like that they're using a megalodon this time because if any of you don't know, megalodon was a prehistoric shark. That's basically a giant great white that could that a human could easily fit inside its mouth.
I really like mosasaurs better, which we're getting in Jurassic World 2, and it's going to eat a surfer.
You know what this, Joel? People were saying, Fallen Kingdom's going to be so bad. And I saw this trailer. I'm like, you're going an even more generic route than I thought you were going.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact just breaking all pretense and just making it a full-on monster film at this point.
Well, no, it doesn't even look like a full-on monster film. It looks like a really cheap, action movie with monsters in it.
Man, I like me some monsters, man. As long as T-Rex does some cool stuff.
Just seeing all the humans trying to shoot these big monsters, I'm like, really? We're at that point now, really? I feel like my problem with that, Joel, this is kind of a concept thing. We're moving so far away from what Jurassic Park was originally.
A movie you have not seen, by the way.
Exactly. But it's like, it feels like we're losing that kind of charm to it.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean,
it seems like we're trying to milk it for all it's worth.
I mean, we've been doing that for decades now.
Yeah.
Jurassic World 2, Lost World, Jurassic Park 3. Wait, Jurassic Park 2, Lost World.
And I'm just also coming from a guy, I don't like Jurassic World.
Yeah. I like parts of it.
I was not enthused by it. I thought everyone in that film was very cliche. Very.
And that could be just the point. I don't know. It's hard.
If that's the point, then I don't get I don't understand what the point is supposed to be about.
Don't mess with Mother Nature because it's gonna come back in the butt.
I guess, but
you make it Indominus Rex and it comes back to haunt you.
Yeah, just doing genetically splicing dinosaurs. It seems like something you'd read in a fan fiction, and it would actually probably work a bit better in a fan fiction.
Jurassic Park actually was a book.
Yeah, I know.
And strangely, I've heard they actually took concept from the book, from the new movie, about the whole splicing thing.
So, that was Colin Trevorrow. Oh, God.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards is Rogue One and
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I was never enthused with Colin Trevorrow to begin with, and then, of course, the whole
Book of Henry thing happened.
And then the whole that whole little side project he did that got people to really.
That was the Book of Henry.
No, I'm talking about that short film.
Oh, that was his college. That was a college short film.
Yeah, that people just rigged him over the coals for.
Yeah, now to be fair, maybe I shouldn't be defending this, but you do stupid stuff when you're in college.
Yeah, no kidding.
So maybe we focus too much on that instead of the other thing, and I generally believe that you can evolve. I think people change.
And I'll say this: I'll be willing to buy that the new Bumblebee movie could be genuinely good. I don't believe it right now, but I'll believe it if it is.
Yeah. Now to be fair,
it's not directed by Michael, so it has a chance.
Yeah, that's true. I can't wait for that Dora the Explorer Michael Bay movie. That's gonna be great. Oh. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that in theaters.
If they cast Megan Fox as Dora, I will laugh until the cows come home.
Maybe I'll get Andy Serkis to play Boots.
That would be amazing.
It would be the greatest performance ever.
And have Bradley Cooper voice him.
Ooh, that's a good. Andy Serkis as the Map? Sure.
Oh,
the Map is the best actor. It's going to be the most dramatic performance of the Map ever.
Well, that's going to be that is going to be. I don't. Granted, that movie's probably not going to be great, but it's going to be something to see.
The Map's dying in Dora's arms. Goes, I'm the Map. I'm the Map.
It'll be if they make a Rush Hour 4, Joel. When the trailer for that comes out, I will go. Granted, this movie's probably not going to be great, but I'm going to laugh my ass off.
No. It should be. Then if it's running over, Jackie Chan is the Map, Chris Tucker is the backpack.
I would pay money to see that.
Got some weed in that backpack. That was Chris Tucker.
That's what you need to do, make Dora. I'm joking.
What?
That's what you need to do. Have Dora. That's what you need to do. Have Dora be a drug addict.
It reminds me of this weird Family Guy joke I saw once, where it was like Passion of the Christ 2 with Chris Tucker and Jesus, and Jesus and their cop buddies for some reason.
Oh yeah, Jesus is shooting people, and then he's like, "Do you know how to use this?" And then Chris Tucker puts that thing away. He says, "Do you know how to use one of these?"
You guys want to use one of these? With that Chris Tucker voice of his. We got Rush Hour. I don't care what anyone says. I love those films to death.
I do too. I would love to get a Rush Hour 4. Also, Joel, there's another big bit of Star Wars news that you have yet to talk about, so I'm interested to see what you have to say about it.
Oh, you mean Resistance?
Mm-hmm.
I did a podcast on that with Doc's channel. I'm excited. I'm interested to see what they do. It's gonna be sequel era, so that's fun. Uh, sorry. It's about a pilot, not a Jedi, so that's good. It's gonna be. I hopefully just. I hope it's structured well. I feel like certain things Rebels did sort of just structurally hindered that show. So I hope this is more of something they have better idea of. If you want more of my cohesive thoughts, check out the podcast I did with Doc Holocron on his channel. Uh,
I will watch that show when it comes to Netflix.
Actually, well, I don't think that's going to happen to Cole. They're
Yeah, I
not
know.
putting in the new shows of Netflix anymore.
Hey, I can. I'll see. I'll get it on DVD if it's that good.
It'll be on Disney Channel, so
Yeah. Yeah, but if any of you have followed us for a long enough time, I'm not a big TV watcher.
TV.
I used to be, but now I just. And the odd thing is, I'm not even a big video game player anymore. I haven't played a video game straight for probably in about 2 months.
Ooh, wow.
I have not played a video game in a while.
We'll get you back on it, Cole.
I'm sure I will. By the time 3 comes out, I'll probably be playing a lot of things again.
We gotta do something for 3. Big
Yeah.
time. But yeah.
Also, wasn't there another a direct someone from a Star Wars got a female director, right?
No, it was a second unit. They're a second unit director,
Oh, okay.
which is still important. It's always good.
That's still good.
It's still good. We're making progress. Warner Brothers has been hiring a lot of diverse directors lately.
Which good for them.
Yeah, it's good for them. I wish I could feel more excited for that because
Well, the problem is they're doing good ploys. I think and the sad thing, Joel, and I hate to say this, I think Warner's just trying anything they can do to try to get some sort of fan place back.
yeah, I don't necessarily need their hirings to be genuine.
Right now what they need to do is focus on at least getting something solid out.
Right, and hopefully this is the way to do it. And I'm
Hopefully,
glad. And we're
yeah.
not against them hiring people of color or women.
No, not at all.
No, we're glad. If even if these make it their careers in a way like, well, maybe the story sucked, but she.
I mean, hell, it worked for. It worked for Wonder Woman. So.
But Wonder Woman, I think Wonder Woman was a decent story for the most part. I think.
But it was also directed well.
Yeah, too, and people like Wrinkle in Time, so good on them.
Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah, that's a different story. But anyway.
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice.
But I think DC really needs to. I'm really skeptical about what the hell DC is even doing at this point. Was Justice League this year, Joel?
No, it was last year.
Oh God, I can't even. I couldn't even. I had to remember that movie even existed.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. We forget Justice League existed yet. Avengers is the biggest, most important film in 10 years.
If a Justice League movie can't break $1 billion, you have really, really screwed the pooch on your franchise.
Remember, Avengers used to be back in the day the one nobody knew about. Everyone knew Justice League.
And now you got to a point where you can't even get Justice League to break $1 billion. Think how sad that sounds.
We live in a world where Thanos is probably going to be more popular than Darkseid.
Yeah.
At least in the mainstream audiences.
Yeah. Especially considering there's supposed to be an Aquaman movie happening at the end of the year, and we have seen nothing of it.
Yeah.
We have seen no set photos. We have not seen a trailer. We have seen nothing.
Yep.
They have been really trepidatious about showing anything of that movie. The funny thing is there was a whole meeting with DC that they were supposed to be showing at some press conference, and I haven't yet to hear a thing about that.
Yep, that's DC for you.
Other than Black Hawks is apparently, or what?
Directed by Steven Spielberg, so that's something.
That's pretty cool.
He's a solid choice.
Solid choice. That being said, it's hard to get excited.
Kind of wish Spielberg was doing Superman.
Yeah, I do too.
He'd be good, I think.
He would be good. Him or Matthew Vaughn, one of the two, they'd be great for Superman.
Oh yeah, I love that. Wasn't he? Or did they get him for Superman?
That's in talks. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed or not.
Okay.
but I want to be excited about DC, but it's hard to be after all the stuff that's come out.
It's really hard to know if they're making any progress. Like, I
Exactly.
guess we'll see when Shazam comes out.
Because Shazam is the only thing that's promising so far.
And I saw a picture of the suit. The suit looks
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, the suit looks pretty good,
Doesn't look like that silly armor stuff they're trying to always do.
and I'm glad that and Mark Strong's playing the villain, so kudos there.
Yeah, so I'm down for that.
Black Adam's still not in it, but whatever. We don't know if he's going to be in anything, so
Hey, The Rock is amazing though.
yes,
I love The Rock.
I do too.
Um,
I mean, they announced the whole New Gods thing, and before people say, "Oh, you're just mad that Eva DuVernay's getting it," no, I'm not. I like David Duvernay as a director. I just wish they had given her something else other than New Gods.
yeah, it's a strange. Well,
It's
not
a very,
not
it's a
strange choice
very,
for her, but
it's a very weird choice in general for them to give her. I would rather. I
maybe
would have
not her, but just a movie and
a
making
movie in
movies.
general. It's a very strange, especially given a director who has very limited experience in that terms of CGI.
Yeah, I mean, who knows maybe what Disney was doing with Wrinkle in Time. So
I mean,
sometimes they like to be cheap.
they could. I feel like there was a better thing they could have given her, and she could have knocked it out of the park. Maybe this is a weird thing for me to say. She may have been good for a Green Arrow film.
Maybe she's good with topical subjects,
She could have been. She could have been very good with Green Arrow.
or maybe Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm
Or a cyborg film.
yep. African American writer write an African American character.
Yeah, it's things like that. Where I'm like, this. It's very strange.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah. Well, cool. On that kind of depressing note, maybe we should wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's getting late on my end. I'm falling asleep here. But yeah, this was a good cast. We talked a lot about fandoms. Again, for everybody listening about if we got a little itchy about our fandom discussion. Like what you like, okay? We were just giving our blunt opinions, and they're very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not. I am not talking about the actual merits here.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy our Infinity War discussion. Lots of
Yep.
parts to talk.
Yep.
Also, I
Like
love
what you
that.
like who you what you like who you like. We're all gonna
Hate
die
what you hate.
anyway, so
Hate what you hate too. As long as you're not a Nazi, then we're
the world's
happy.
gonna end anyway. We're all gonna die, so enjoy what you like. Unless you are a fascist, in which case you will probably have half the world, probably the entire world against you. So yeah.
Except the internet, sadly. Yep. So just remember, folks.
I'm not sure Trump. Oh, did I say that?
Ooh. And just remember, folks. Reality is illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye, gold. Bye, bye.
Bye.